buffer.
All right, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the House of the Dragon finale roundtable discussion. I am your host, Char J, joined by my co-host, Hereth.
What's going on?
And Jedi Master Eggs. I have not been on for Hot D, but I have been keeping up on every single thing and news and what's been happening. Because this season was just a chock full of insanity, and it was just so fun to be a witness of. Because, man, the drama in the show has been absolutely phenomenal. But we have two guests on today. One is here at the moment. One will be appearing very shortly. But, Luke, Hereth, are you ready to bring him in?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's bring in a local for our Hot D and Game of Thrones community, Josh Mesa Windu. You're muted, my friend.
I literally sat down. I was like, I'm going to take a bite out of mashed potatoes. And then I was like, oh, shit. Hi, guys.
Yeah, that's for Lord of the Rings. This is that's the
man.
potatoes.
I was like, oh, they're all talking. Cool. I have time to eat real quick. And then I was like, oh, shit. What's up? Fuck.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
we like to
love
keep the
that.
intro concise. So, well,
There we
Josh,
go. Okay.
how you been?
Hanging in there, man. It's been a long week.
Yeah.
Long couple weeks. Yeah. We're getting through it, though. Everything's okay.
I mean, we all got to push through something. I mean,
Somehow,
I don't know what's
right?
been happening with you, but I mean, as long as you're getting through it, it's all that matters.
Appreciate
But
it.
yes, JJ will be coming here shortly. But yeah, we're here to talk
Oh no.
Just him like,
about
no.
the finale of Hot D season 2, the Queen Whoever Was. Oh, this season has
whoa, he's with the 2x speed there. Holy
What?
shit.
Oh my God.
Yo.
That was
That-
great.
Did I
It
just-
sounded like
did I
a
just
medical
enter into
infomercial.
hyperspace?
Hot D season 2. I was like, whoa. May cause cramping.
I didn't no, because on my screen I saw
Okay, sir,
Luke
you cannot
blink,
be sued for.
and I'm like, wait, there may be a connection issue here.
Oh my
But
God, and
I
now
saw
he's
Luke's. I
delayed.
saw Luke's face when it first froze, and Luke was like,
Oh fuck.
So I gotta go back and see that. No, because all I saw was Luke's screen just flicker black. I'm like, there's something
Oh,
wrong here.
God.
But yes, we're gonna be talking about the Hot D season 2 finale, the Queen Whoever Was, and the season as a whole, because there's gonna be a lot of things to talk about. I mean, up until episode 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, there's so many things that happened. Like a lot of death, a lot of changes, a lot of betrayals, a lot of like, oh my God, like there's just so much that's happened. And then also we're going to be talking about what's to come in season 3 and what we're going to be expecting to see in season 3. There's like some clear cut indicators as to what we're going to see as of what happens at the very end of the season episode with the gullet and then with what happens because a lot of the thick of it that happens in this season is from Dying of the Dragons, the Red and the Gold. That's a lot of this season is about that. So
I see you red fire and blood, my guy. I'm kidding.
I see you red fire and blood. Yeah. No, it's a running joke with Hereth and I. He's like, I read Fire and Blood. I know what I'm talking about. I'm like, oh, red fire and blood. Good job. But
Char, also, we would like to say hi to the TikTok stream.
oh,
We're
hi
live on
TikTok.
as
Hello,
well.
fellow Jedi Master Eggs followers.
It's pod ones, you jackass.
Pod ones, you
Oh,
idiot.
pod ones, but mainly
Yeah.
Jedi Master Eggs.
Anyway,
Yeah. Look, if you want to go ahead and because I have talking points, but if you want
yeah,
to say your piece,
Josh. Okay, so
Yeah.
you've had about 2 weeks to kind of digest and.
has it already
kind of-
been 2 weeks since we've
Yeah,
seen
it'll
this?
it'll be 2 weeks on Sunday. Yeah. It'll be 2 weeks.
Jesus.
I
Damn.
know, but like, see, like that. You say 2 years, like 2 months, like 2 weeks just went like that. So
True.
it might not go as long and as like
Yeah. And we
Well,
also
is it
got like
possible?
we got Duncan Egg coming out too, and that'll
Yes.
definitely have something to talk about over the course. It'll burn some. It'll feel like a year more than anything. It won't feel too long.
And then we'll
Yeah.
feast in 2026 with all the content that's coming out.
oh,
Yeah, there's a
God.
lot of shit coming out in 26. Yeah.
Yeah.
and you know what the
it's
funny
gonna
thing
be
is too? I rewatched
wild.
that season 5 episode yesterday of when Aemon dies, and he's just saying egg, egg, egg. He's kind
Yeah.
of before he eventually dies. But it was just funny because we're expecting to see a Knight of the Seven Kings.
Oh God
Dumbs?
damn it! It happened
Dumbs.
again.
And that'll be fun because if you go back and watch Game of Thrones when Joffrey's looking through the book, he's like, "Oh wow, 4 pages for Duncan the Tall." I'm like, Yeah, there's a lot about this guy. But am I going fast?
Yes.
Am I going
Josh's
fast again?
face, Josh's
Everybody
face.
was just kind of like, uh-huh.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's not my
Uh-huh.
fault. It's not my fault.
Oh God, yeah, that's so funny.
Sometimes I'm an
But
MC,
no.
you know.
No, but
Okay.
Josh, how have your thoughts changed? Has your opinion changed over the last 2 weeks since seeing it?
No, man. I mean, like, I don't know if JJ's opinions changed too much on it, but like what I told her and what I talked about in the space a couple of weeks ago was that I'm a relatively easy guy to have fun. Like, I have fun watching like House of the Dragon. I read Fire and Blood as well. I'm aware of the changes that are made. Yeah, I've read it too, by the way. I don't know if you guys heard. Yeah. I enjoyed the book a lot. I think I do agree that some changes made are not necessarily ones that I would have made. I wish they could have done certain things differently on the live screen adaptation, but I also look at the show for what it is. And I think for what it is, even with all of the changes, it's a lot of fun. And I think the finale, as painful as it was watching all these armies marching towards their annihilation, which is something that we had been hearing about over the course of the season, like, oh, the high towers are marching, the Lannisters are amassing their forces, the Valarian fleet is holding the blockade, but now there's a giant triarchy armada coming to them. It's like all of this stuff was coming to a head, and it feels like a lot of this stuff is going to be happening around the same fucking time. And so a lot of people are going to be like, oh god. And I had a feeling towards the end, I was like, shit, they're gonna save pretty much all of this for next season. And that's like, that was my biggest like, no, because I could tell by looking at it and how the season was constructed and how many episodes there were. I could tell that whoever was in charge, at least partly their decision was affected by the fact that Rook's Rest was in the season. And I think they probably looked at that and saw what was still to come. And they said, okay, well, we have enough money for Rook's Rest. We have enough money to do Rook's Rest honorably. I don't know if we have enough, maybe not enough time, but like, I don't know if we have enough budget. To do the, I know they did not have the budget to do the gullet this season. Oh, like there's no way in hell. Like based on what we had seen, they were building up towards a cliffhanger. But with like the Lannister armies, the Riverlands army, the Starks marching, all of this stuff. The further we got into the season, the more I started really kind of thinking like, yeah, we're not going to see some of this stuff until next season. And once I got over that, because I was hoping to see at least one of the major battles in the finale potentially or something like that, I was like, oh no, for what it is, it's great. And I feel like it's going to be one of those seasons where we look back on it when it's done and say, oh yeah, this is right before everything went to hell, because the first like 3 episodes of the next season is going to be all battles. Like the Lannisters are probably going to meet the Riverlands army. The Gullet's probably going to happen either in the premiere or the next episode. And there's so many other things that are moving. It's all out war now. So I'm okay waiting 2 years. You're not gonna want to see these dragons.
No.
Like people, what did JJ say? She was like, I don't think, she's like, some of you guys were crying after Rook's Rest. It's not gonna get easier. Like
no, it's not gonna get any.
It's not gonna get
It's not
easier.
gonna be like. And here's my thing. Like I was on a bachelor party, but like last weekend, and a few of my friends have watched House of the Dragon and are big Game of Thrones fans. And they were like, this season was kind of boring. And I'm like, why? And they go, well, we were promised that we were going to see dragons and stuff. But like, the point is like, yeah, but like, that's not that, like, it's so much deeper than that. You know what I mean? It's not just,
like,
oh, look at the battles, look at
But
everything.
that's also never been the main appeal of either show.
It's never been the appeal of Game of Thrones. I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about here? You love Game of Thrones and you're gonna complain about like politics and like the scheming and the plotting. Like that's all of Game of Thrones season 1.
Yeah, because let me ask all of you guys. It's this. What genre is Hot D? Let me give you a hint. It's the same as Game of Thrones.
It's fantasy.
No, it's not fantasy.
Political drama.
It's a drama series.
Yeah.
Well, it's
And the drama in the show
fantasy drama.
Has been
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? Like everything that's happening between Rhaenyra and trying to be able to get a rise out of the small folk because the small folk are starving because Aemon's not doing anything for them, and then what's happening between her and Rhaenyra and Alicent, what's happening between the Velaryons and Alan and Corlys and the dragons, the sowing of the seeds. The drama has been amazing. Not even talking about what happened with Daemon on Harrenhal.
Yeah.
Like that was the payoff for Daemon and Harrenhal was so worth it.
Oh,
If we're
yeah,
talking about
absolutely.
drama, because that's what the show is. The dragons are not the forefront of the show. You're
Like,
here to see families have it's basically just family infighting. That's what it is.
It's a dynastic dispute. The entire thing. I mean, the dragons play a central role, obviously, and they play and it's telling the story of how the beginning of the end basically happened for the Targaryen dynasty. But like the force that pushes the story forward are the characters and the acting performances of the characters. I mean, the first 3 seasons of Game of Thrones was a lot of just 2 guys sitting in a room pouring wine and talking about stuff that happened. It was just really well written and really well paced, and all the stuff, all the battles that we really saw in the first couple seasons were like blink and you miss it or immediate aftermath kind of thing. Partly because they didn't have the budget to show all of it, but also because like that's kind of what we kind of saw in the books too. Like there wasn't really a lot of like, oh, we know like we didn't see it from a POV, like what was going on here. There wasn't some massive, like we always heard about it passing. It's from POVs and stuff. So yeah, I don't think there's inherently anything wrong with how they've been doing it. I like when they just sit at the small council and talk about these obscure ass noble houses that may or may not, like when they were talking about the Beesburys rising up against their liege lords, the High Towers. I was like, oh yeah, give me more of that. Give me random house foot, like getting mad at House Arm or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, like I want to see that more. So
Yeah, and then I asked this question to Hereth the other day about the fans not liking this season because there wasn't enough dragon warfare because Rook Stress wasn't enough. I told Hereth, what would you rather see? Would you rather see dragons fighting each other or listen to Tywin Lannister talk for an hour straight? Like, what would you prefer? Like, would you rather see dragons just killing each other or listen to the wittiness and the greatness of Tywin Lannister speak?
I know for a fact that there would be people who would pick the dragons, but like me personally, like that's kind of what drove the first couple seasons of Game of Thrones forward. So like Charles Dance explaining why Harrenhal is like a melted candlestick. It's like, let me hear that. Hear Charles Dance talk about what happened. Like, so
the funny thing is you mentioned that. I was the exact thing I told Char too. I was like, yeah, Tywin talking about how Harrenhal went is one of the most interesting scenes in season 2 of Game of Thrones.
Well, and I mean, let's be real here. I'm not interested in seeing a story based on the Lannisters. Go fuck yourself.
Well, the Lannisters were the best part of that show.
They are.
The Lannister family can eat.
You can hate them, but you have to love them.
They are.
And even in Hot D with Tylan, at the very end of the show.
The fact that Tylan got his ass kicked in the first half of that episode was so glorious to me.
I don't know. I feel like Tylan,
but he became a male surrogate. I mean,
I feel like Tylan, out of all of them, if I had to pick, like out of all, maybe with the exception of like Show Tyrion, out of all of them, like Tylan, I always felt like kind of bad for him because it was kind of like he was like the browbeaten bureaucrat out of the twins. Like Jason was like the douche canoe where it's like, all right, bro, like, yeah, dude, okay. Tylan's kind of just like, look, man, I was born second, so I don't get the inheritance and the fancy tower and the fancy castle. I'm just gonna like do my like tax returns and stuff for everybody, and it's gonna be fine. And so in that vein, I always feel bad for him because all bro is trying to do is like, yo, we need to like break the blockade, and they're
Mhm.
like, well, why don't you wrestle me for it? And Tylen's like, bro, come on, man. Like it's
don't have
the whole
the
time
time.
it's just like, come on,
I don't have
dog.
the
Like
time for
why?
this.
Yeah, like come on.
I mean,
But
yeah,
no.
and speaking of Thailand too, with how the finale went, I mean, one of the first key topics of our discussion is going to be about the triarchy and the build up to the gullet.
Right.
With obviously with Thailand with the triarchy, the sea lion, and then it's funny because at the very end of the episode, you see that Lohar, Thailand, and the triarchy are already hauling ass to the gullet
Yeah.
because the Valarian fleet are like just slowly just canoeing to their ship because in Fire and Blood it's written that the triarchy caught them by surprise when this happens because you can see how fast they're going when it happens.
Yeah.
Are we talking spoilers, by the way? Before I start, like,
I mean, let's be real
We can-
here. This show,
You
we're
can
gonna
be
have
a little
2
bit,
years, and if you go back and
I'll-
you
watch
can be a
I'll
little
be-
later on-
cryptic. Be a
I'll
little
be
cryptic.
cryptic about. I'm good
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
yeah.
typically pretty good with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
like what you see is that you see the triarchy hauling ass to the gullet while the Valarians are just slowly just getting to their ship
Yeah.
because what happens is they catch them by surprise. Like that's what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, it's a big part of it, and the gullet. If you had to guess, when do you think they're going to show that? Do you think it's going to be one of those like teasing end of episode 1 into episode 2? Because like I've never known a moment that big to happen in like episode 2. It always feels like there's always has to be a certain like either the premiere
Yeah, because I mean,
or
Blood and
Yeah.
Cheese was the first episode.
yeah, so like I would think that if they were following the format of season 2, which I heard that's one of the things that they might be doing, I could see them throwing that on there like episode 4. But that would mean, and that would give them time to kind of like settle the the Riverlands fight that seems to be coming up. The Lannister army is marching towards Harrenhal.
Yeah.
It would give us time to kind of give Daemon a moment with the Riverlands army, and maybe have like a sense of elation for the black side of things, and then everybody knows the gullet's coming, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh god, yeah, oh my god. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I-
'cause there's a lot of things that happen in
Mhm.
what happens after or leads up to the gullet because there's gonna be things because we only got Blood and Cheese, we got the sowing of the seeds, we got Rook's Rest. Those are like the 3 major moments that we got in season 2. So for season 3, we're going to get the gullet. Are we going to get Tumbleton? Are we going to get
I think we're getting God's Eye as well because it's like that feels like a
Tumbleton
season
and
3
God's
thing.
Eye? Okay.
No, because there's only 4 seasons.
if there's
And
4
I-
seasons,
also-
this is gonna be okay. If it is 4 seasons, which I'm pretty sure it is, right? They said it was
Yeah,
gonna
Ryan
be 4.
Condal came out and said that it was.
Well,
4
yeah,
seasons.
because
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
because the end of the Dance of the Dragons is where X gets married to Y, and then it's all resolved.
Right, you have to have the epilogue in there, so it's like you have
Yeah.
to make time for that too, because you
Yeah,
can't just do it
it's
in
not
one
just all about
episode.
Rhaenyra. It's about what happens after Rhaenyra too.
Is it wrong that I don't trust them to do that for more than like 20 minutes though?
I agree.
I
It's
have
like
faith
Game
in
of Thrones
Ryan
season
Condal.
8, like PTSD, like getting
I could
activated.
see. I think I was talking to JJ about this a couple of months ago, but like my biggest fear is the ending, which honestly deserves its own season and all, if we're being honest.
Agreed.
But they're not going to do a whole season of that. So at least an episode or 2. Like, I don't even think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be one of those bookend scenes where we see like X and then like maybe a little voiceover that leads us into like, oh, like they're going to try and find a way to throw like Danny in there too. I have a feeling they're going to try and find a way to like throw all like
They just show
cameos
the
into
eggs
footage.
arriving in
Yeah.
like pesos,
Yeah,
and like they're
like,
getting
they're-
baked.
You joke honestly, you joke about that, but I've been, the more and more I look at like I wasn't expecting to see Danny in episode 8 a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
I feel like low key, like I could see at the end of this show when everything is, the dust is settled and everybody is broken beyond repair, we get like a little like wide shot of the eggs that are chilling in Pentos or whatever. And we get like they somehow managed to get like, not somehow, she'd be happy to do it, but like Emilia Clarke for whatever reason comes back and picks up the I could see them do, we joke about that, but I could totally see them doing something like that.
Or they do for the epilogue. They have Emilia Clarke doing the voiceover of recapping what happens.
That would be cool. I would think it would make more sense if we're talking about Game of Thrones. It would make sense if it was like either like Varys,
I say
Robert
you don't delve into too much.
Baratheon,
No,
or
Robert
like
Baratheon doesn't make any sense. I think Danny or Viserys makes the most sense. And in all seriousness, it would be Danny.
Keep it
They've
separate.
already shown
Keep
her.
it separate.
I think it would be corny, but I could also totally see them doing that because they're already been playing with. They've been flirting with the idea of like they've been trying really hard to make Show Rhaenyra a bit of a predecessor in spirit to Daenerys. Like it is so clear to me that they've been trying to do that. And what better way, if it's the show understanding of things, than to make that the actual bookend of the entire series? You know, like there might be a line where Rhaenyra is like, there will be I don't even know what I can say without getting like, but like maybe one day, you know, and then like we get like Danny's theme or something playing in the back, something just enough for you to be like, oh, she's alluding unknowingly to whoever the fuck, you know.
Well,
so
because I mean, Danny is from that lineage. That was the
Yeah.
whole point of the vision from Daemon, is that she is part of that lineage between Rhaenyra and Daemon. Is that am I understanding that incorrectly?
No.
maybe.
Like that's what they were trying to say.
Because that's what I thought the shot was. Because like you go from Danny rising up with the dragons, all three of them, and then you cut to Rhaenyra on the throne. The line of the throne leads to Danny.
Yeah, because I was watching a video the other day about it, and obviously we know Daemon has no idea who Daenerys is. Us fans, we know who Daenerys
Yeah.
is. So you think maybe is that another thing that he thinks that Rhaenyra is doing?
Well,
Correct.
I think
Does
that might
he think that it's
a-
Rhaenyra in that moment?
I don't think so. I think he thinks that it could be either. I think the most likely he would be thinking is that it's another one of the children that they had.
I think I think it could be a combination of things. I think Damon is looking at that and saying, I don't know who that is. It could be her. It could be my grandchild. It could be a descendant of mine that isn't going to be born for another 150 years. But what I do know is that whoever that is in some way is connected to me and what I do. And so I think when he looks at that, I don't think he understands what he's looking at, but he does understand that like that's significant because of what he needs to do. It's like a whole, like he's seen the Song of Ice and Fire or whatever they call it in the show. Like he has seen that now, and he's aware of like the broad risk. He doesn't know the details, but he knows the broad risk now. So now he knows that he needs to do whatever he can, whether they're coming next year or they're coming 200 years from now, which ends up being the case. They end up showing up like 170 years later. But it's almost like it doesn't matter who, you know, who he thinks it might be. It's like he doesn't know who it is. Yeah. So, you know.
And also, Luke, speaking of that vision, I need to put you on trial again.
Oh no.
What?
I know it's coming.
You and your insane theories. When you saw that White Walker, and when you said Daemon is the Night King, I almost punched my phone.
I wasn't the only one. Okay, first
I
of
almost
all,
punched my phone.
That's your
I can't
defense
believe
that
this.
you
The
weren't
Night
the
King was
only one
made
that
over
said it, Luke.
10,000 years ago.
Atlantis said it, but also was immediately like, "Wait, that's stupid."
No, exactly, and then I agree
Luke,
with her.
what are you doing over there, man?
Dude, it's all for clicks. What do you think this is?
Oh, you're not
come
supposed to
on.
admit that, Luke.
Oh,
You're
damn
not supposed
it.
to
Well,
admit that, man.
come on.
I'm joking.
Rookie
I gotta
mistake.
get the masses going, man. It's just
And also,
like
that wasn't even a
one
Night King. That was
song.
just a regular. That was just a regular
No,
white.
yeah, that was just one of his henchmen. That wasn't even the
Yeah, one of his lieutenants.
But
yeah.
but it's fun. But it's funny though, because it's like, oh man, if they could have only figured out, if only they weren't dumb. Like think about this. If they were just like, all right, I saw this vision. There's this zombie-looking guys up north. Maybe we should figure out what's going on there instead of infighting. But let's be real here, that would never happen.
No, because what he saw was just a
I have a
preparation
question.
for it. It's just
I
the
have a
process
question
that
for
he
you guys, and It reminded me of this question that I had because I asked JJ and I was like, I don't understand why if this was such a thing, it's kind of one of those things that I kind of think it raised another plot hole because I was like, wait, why didn't they X, Y, and Z? If Aegon supposedly saw this apocalyptic doom for Westeros and that's why he wanted to unite the Seven Kingdoms and he knew that like they were coming from the north, why didn't the Targaryen dynasty like try and do more to kind of like cultivate their relationship with like the Starks? Because like Kragan Stark says in episode 1 in season 2, like he's saying it to the audience. He says it to Jace, but he's saying it to the audience. Like wink, wink. It's the same universe. This is gonna happen one day. But he's like, oh, like you really think they raised a 700-foot wall of ice to keep out wildlings and scavengers and stuff? And he's like, what is it keeping out? And he's like, death. It's like, okay, so both of you guys know that shit's about to get real one day. Why didn't y'all like keep pen pals or some shit? Like, I don't know, man. Like,
or kind of like, why wouldn't Aegon the Conqueror be like, hey, old man Stark, we got some problems up north?
Because in the books, Aegon didn't really go north that often on his on his tours and stuff. Like he didn't really go and visit. I mean, like I know like some of the Northmen were still sore over
even
and everything, but like
even like 200 years later, because again I'm currently reading Game of Thrones, even Ned doesn't even know what the White Walkers are. He's like, oh, I've heard stories of them, they exist, maybe they don't.
Maybe like, the argument there is that like it's a secret thing that got lost to time,
which could be,
and it's entirely possible if you don't write shit down. Like if you don't do that, it's entirely possible.
Well, think about that though. That would be a good way of explaining it though, Josh, because it's like if we're told from what we learned in House of the Dragon that he saw this vision and he was passing it down to each heir, it ended with Rhaenyra. It ends with Rhaenyra.
Maybe. Yeah.
Possibly.
Maybe.
I mean, let's be real.
Luke's
if you watch
theories,
Game of Thrones, you already know the ending of House of the Dragon. Not gonna lie, but like, that would be the best explanation for that if you think about it. Because if that wasn't written down, which would also make sense with how they were so caught off guard by this.
Yeah.
In Game of Thrones.
Why didn't they just tell people? I don't know. Like I agree with you. I agree with you, but I can't get over how this is the problem that I had with the whole like Song of Ice and Fire theory. And like I really wish they had just made it like Rhaenyra should be queen and people disagreed and then a civil war happened, because that alone was enough for you to make a juicy, well-written docu-series on. And you still could have made metaphors toward the larger world of Westeros and the legacy that it would leave and stuff like that. You could drop hints about what's coming later, but like I was in the back of my head, I was just like, I don't think you guys needed like this prophecy to I don't know, give it like a deity, a deified like explanation of why all this stuff needed to happen. I don't know. So,
yeah, it was like a sort of a divine revelation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when Viserys is telling Rhaenyra, like they called it the Song of Ice and Fire. In my head, I was just like,
bum bum bum.
Whoa. Yeah, like literally like, stares at the camera and just I don't know.
Well. So we have our fifth guest.
I'm
JJ?
so sorry. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Good evening, guys. How's it going?
Good.
How's it
Long
going?
time no see.
I know. Where the hell have you been, dude?
The gym.
Literally though.
Oh really? I just now noticed your shoulders, bro. You only let them. Yeah, you know, like really.
What the hell is
Were you waiting on me to say something, Char? Yeah, come on. Yeah, you're jacked to shit, bro. Yeah, good job.
Oh my god.
The mustache too, man. Yeah, all right.
Dude,
the American Psycho.
No, Josh,
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
What?
All he needs is that facial mask right now to like slowly.
Oh my god, no.
I can't
Let's
believe
Paul Allen's.
I can't believe that JJ prefers Luke's card to mine or some shit like that from the movie where he's just like the inner monologues and saying, I have a nice haircut. Like, all right, bro.
Hold on, I gotta let me send out a link on Twitter so people can join us here. Okay.
Oh, awesome.
And JJ, if you want to join the TikTok and also do that, you are more than
Sure.
welcome to do that as well.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
JJ, to catch you up on where we were at in the conversation, we're talking about how a Song of Ice and Fire, the concept of the prophecy was kind of like a like as time went on, it kind of became like this. It was only passed on from the Targaryens from downwards, but it was not really it was kind of like an inwards thing, not to be passed out to everyone about the eventual White Walkers and the war in the north, and because what Josh was saying is that it was kind of like a thing that should have been taken more into consideration amongst everyone.
Well, see, that's the question I used to get a lot. And think of it this way. You're the king, right?
Mhm.
You are magical, technically. You have premonitions. You have, prophetic dreams, and you ride a dragon. You control a dragon, or you have an emotional bond with the dragon. If you want to unite the kingdom, make it strong, have resources, roadways, everything ready when this great evil force comes so the kingdom can stand together instead of like individual bickering. Are you, as this king, going to be running down the streets? You don't know what you saw in your dream. Just something is coming to wipe out humanity. We're all going to die. Get ready. Death is coming.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
nobody's going to believe you, especially a very superstitious nation.
Yeah, because because Josh was talking about the dialogue between Craig and Stark and Jace when they were at the wall,
Mm-hmm.
and about why this 700-foot wall is not only to keep out, it's not just to keep out wildlings and thens and anything else, but death.
Death.
Well, and
But,
also in that conversation, it was brought up that Jaehaerys and Alysanne's dragons wouldn't go north of the wall.
Which
Correct.
I think it was a little bit of I can't confirm this. This is not like I'm speaking to truth to it. One can only like presume is that it's throwing a little bit of shade at Dave and Daniel for having
In season 7.
Yeah, Daenerys' dragons cross the wall with absolutely no conflict of any sort. Like, it was just way
Agreed.
too easy. And I do think that entire scene, not only does it break canon officially, if that's the case, it definitely set the show up for failure moving forward because of the nonsensical decisions that were made in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, like, I
Yeah.
feel like Martin was throwing shade at Dave and Daniel in that instance. So I'm very curious how that's going to actually play out if we ever get the wins in the dream. I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm still hopeful for
which by all means,
2025.
throw shade at them. I don't care.
and he has been like subtly. He's very like Martin is clever with his words. He's never gonna like break NDAs or
say
speak
it.
like outright, but he'll like throw in a nugget here and there.
Which, I mean, here's the thing. And I think my only gripe with this season would be, I mean, granted, the strike
With season 2?
Yeah, with season 2.
Oh,
my only
yeah.
gripe is that the episode lengths, well, not even the episode lengths. The episode lengths were perfect, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It was the episode, like the amount of episodes, because it was originally supposed to be 10, if I remember correctly. And then the strikes happened, and then we had more stuff happen that way.
And then there's a bunch of rewrites.
Which for full transparency, I am glad that happened. It's unfortunate that it had to happen, but for the reason that it happened, it was good because we got fairness and for all the writers and.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think anybody's arguing that.
No.
But it did definitely cost the season on its own. Like, and unfortunately, if you want to do it right, they would have to like prolong the whole process and make the wait even longer than it felt.
We wouldn't get it. We wouldn't have gotten season 2 until
probably next year.
2025.
Yeah.
Correct.
Which, I mean, to be honest, I kind of would I have liked
Night of the Seven Kingdom and House in the same year.
I don't know if they would have. I don't think they would have made it come out the same year. Yeah.
What Josh said. Josh said. There's no way. I mean, can you overload a fandom with too much content? Yes, in my opinion. Like MCU is your exactly Jinx. Like same like
the fandom we're in right now. Besides House,
Star Wars is also
even Star Wars. From
Star Wars
15 to 19, it was a film every year.
Film every year. Like so many shows: Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Visions, Ahsoka. I can go on. It was a lot of content, and I think we were inundated with different style of storytelling as well. So it doesn't. I don't want to say it doesn't feel cohesive, but it can be sensory overload.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
It's a
even
little
like
diluted.
it's a little diluted, especially knowing like the original trilogy took like ever many years to get prequels to kind of tell the story of Darth Vader. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like people
Yeah.
patiently waited for that. And as imperfect as those films are, and they are extremely cohesive as a
Yeah.
story, which is
Yeah.
why I think prequel trilogy has aged much better, and I don't think sequel trilogy will age better for those reasons. Lack of cohesiveness.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I think that's a fair assumption. And somebody else made it, actually. It's not, I can't take credit for that, but it makes perfect sense to me. Like you can cherry pick things out of the prequels that are bad, like acting and some of the direction, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause Lucas is not a good screenwriter. He is
He's not.
No.
Yeah.
he's a world
absolutely
builder. He is a
not.
world builder.
Yeah.
So but
Well-
for the most part, it feels cohesive. You look at
Yeah.
the trilogy of those films, they feel unison. There's theme there.
Sheesh,
Well, and
what's up
also,
with
like-
Georges being great world builders?
Ah.
George,
And
man.
also-
I
It's the name, man. It's
Like
the
wildfire.
name.
In one of the videos I made, if I had a nickel for every time a white old man called George ruined my life, I'd have 2 nickels.
Or your childhood, or
I mean,
Yeah.
Seriously.
And to JJ's point, like having a trilogy come out and then wait for a prequel to come out.
Mhm.
I wish I could say the same for The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings.
the
Mm.
Hobbit was
The
was
Hobbit was
alright.
okay. It wasn't good. It wasn't.
It
a
was not good. I
masterpiece.
am not going to be gaslit into thinking that's a.
No.
I can show you like how big that book is. It's she's
not
thin.
even-
It's a children's
not-
book.
It's a child's book, and they elongated a battle when the
That
main
shouldn't have
character was
existed.
knocked out and didn't even know what happened.
I love the scene when
Like-
Bomber blew a horn. That was awesome.
But like with Lord of the Rings, like it's behind the original trilogy of Star Wars. It's 1A and 1B for trilogies told in them. It's like I feel like people put that in the Godfather, like Star Wars, the original Star Wars movies, the Godfather trilogy, and then Lord of the Rings. However you want to put those 3 trilogies, those are like the big trilogies that you look at and you say those were well done trilogies.
Well, I'll argue with Godfather because the third one, it's a bit of a tonally, it just takes
it
down
changes. Yeah.
completely. And I
Yeah.
do think it's very distracting. And this is nepotism at work. That Sofia Coppola was given a role without any skill, and it's a jarring performance that really overshadows a lot of the thematic elements of Godfather 3. Unfortunately, she's a way better filmmaker, obviously,
Yeah.
just not in the realm of acting. And I think that throws Godfather 3 like really through the loop. Like when you look at 2, which is a masterpiece in my opinion, like movie is perfect to me.
Yeah.
I can't find a flaw in that film. And I use perfect very, very rarely to describe anything. Like
No, that's a
Godfather 2
10.
is
That's a 10. Yeah, that's a 10, out of 10.
And you would
And I
think
mean-
that maybe because after the original trilogy,
Mhm.
everyone had such insanely high standards for the prequels. But the thing for Game of Thrones and Hot D, Game of Thrones ended so poorly
Yeah.
that what we got in Hot D was so relieving.
For the most part. Yeah.
Yeah.
In a way.
For the most part.
Well, the story was just great in general, but the fact
Mm-hmm.
that the way Game of Thrones ended was it just had such a sour taste in everyone's mouth, and
But-
it made everyone happy. We get to see
So-
dragons, we get to see King's Landing at peace, we get to see all these characters and Targaryens at their highest power.
Peace.
But can I
It's
ask you?
not peace
Can I
in a
ask you a
way,
question to
man.
Instead
follow
of
up with
the sand snakes asking Braun for bad, yeah, whatever. Go ahead.
But here's the deal: like, if you look at season 7 and 8 of Game of Thrones, how bad, yeah, it's so bad, but bad they were. Why was the natural next choice to do Dance of Dragons when we watched dragons die and a Targaryen queen turn into a mad tyrant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we're watching Dance of Dragons when there's a dragon extinction and
I
whatever
would've
else is going to
I
come.
w- I
You
would
know
have
what I
loved.
mean?
I
Yeah.
would have loved like Blackfire Rebellion or something. It would have been.
Yeah.
I would have loved that.
You
Um,
can't have it. It's not written. It's just in
I
hindsight
know.
of other
I
characters.
know.
Blood
No
and
source
Fire
material.
I
will also
know.
come eventually.
Aegon
Eventually.
Aegon
I
the
bet you. I bet
Fourth.
you
And it-
anything that. I bet
and
you
that's a
anything
s-
that comes out first before Winds of Winter.
I
And
disagree.
Dreams of
George
I
is
disagree.
George is
You
going
think so?
whole
He's-
steam ahead on
he's-
wins.
He's made it clear nothing is getting released, published until when Winds of Winter is not out. He's
Okay,
said
okay.
this.
The
On his
only
blog.
one
Unless
I'd
he's
be-
lying.
The only thing I'd be okay with him releasing first, and even then, I don't think this would be a good decision to do this, is if he did
Mhm.
Fire and Blood Part 2, because I really want to see Winds and Dream of Spring first before I read Fire and Blood Part 2, because I feel like
I know.
him doing a Maester's telling of anything involving Robert's rebellion would
Ooh.
almost be like I feel like it would lead people on the right path to what actually happened, because he would do it under the vein of sources, right? It'd be like secondary and tertiary sources and stuff. Somebody would read one chapter of that and be like, oh god, oh, I think I know what's going to happen in Dream now. It's like, oh well, shit, like, yeah, like sources say that Howland Reed was spotted south of. Oh my fucking god! Oh my god.
Do you know what? Do you know what would collectively happen to the fandom if they drop Howland Reed drops anywhere within? Because I'm sure Blood and Fire 2 is going to cover Aegon
Oh,
third
yeah.
or fourth through probably Robert's Rebellion.
Oh yeah,
Which
for sure.
so many people want in live action, and my question to you is, why do you want a story that has no source material? It's just secondhand accounts
Also,
again.
agree.
not to
I
quote George, and I
agree.
agree with him. Why would you want a story that's been so explicitly explained in Game of Thrones? There's nothing really to add. We basically know almost everything.
But
Well,
then
for
like,
Robert's Rebellion, yeah.
the beauty of Robert's Rebellion has always been the mystery, not knowing. Like, you understand all these different conflicting accounts of what happened, but like,
Yeah.
you don't know, and that's the beauty. The only thing Howland Reed is going to confirm is probably if Lyanna is the Knight of the Laughing Tree. What exactly was the nature of like giving her the rose? Maybe Howland Reed knows these details. I always believed that Rhaegar gave her that rose as like a sign of like, you did good by saving Howland.
Mhm.
But he did it in a stupid fucking way that just kind of shook the kingdom and disrespected his wife. So
Beautiful
like,
idiot.
beautiful idiot. Like, you don't know why he did
Honorable
it. and-
fool.
honorable fool. Yeah, if he's like plagued by all these prophecies and dreams and being who he is, like,
What do you think the
It-
significance of Ashara Dane?
I think she is the bygone era.
Okay.
Like, I think that's like the theme of A Song of Ice and Fire, of Martin taking the knights and the fair maidens of your medieval fantasy and
Yeah.
flipping the
Bam,
script,
outside.
killing
Yeah.
off the noble knights,
Yeah.
Arthur Dane and the White Bull and Lewin Martell and Ashara Dane, the beautiful maid that everybody is like vying their attention for.
Yeah.
So he flips the script and kills the bygone era.
Yeah.
And even Jamie Lennox, because I've been rereading Jamie's chapters like at the same time, like skipping everything, just kind of reading them in line. Like, he talks about the bygone era when knights were brave, when the swords were sharp and the maidens were beautiful.
Yeah.
And Martin
can't-
flips the script. That's why, like, when people, Ashara is alive, like, that just goes up against that inversion.
Oh yeah. No, she's definitely dead. Yeah, I don't see how.
I
I don't
think
see
she's
any
dead.
Realistic scenario as to how she would be alive
Oh,
right now.
body
Yeah.
was never found. But if she jumps into the
Yeah.
ocean, it's taken away by the current.
Yeah, like it wasn't
then
found
she
because
drowns.
it wasn't found because there was nothing to recover. Like that's all.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And again, if you have like a character that has a beautiful face and gorgeous purple eyes, it would have been seen and
Oh,
noticed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like things
That
like
would have
that.
been
I don't
pointed
know.
out so freaking quick.
You can't hide a
Very, very
Targaryen.
Quick.
Correct. Yeah. And Danes have purple eyes, even though they claim they're not of Valyrian ancestry. But that's the mystery.
Yeah.
How do they have Valyrian features, but they're not Valyrian? So, and Martin
Wh-
plays with these
When do
concepts.
they really show up? When
Who
does
do-
that
who does? I'm
family
sorry.
really become really prevalent in this whole thing?
Afterthought. No. Actually, the only time they're prevalent is with Edric Dane, the nephew of Ashara and Arthur. He
Okay.
meets Arya Stark, and they talk about that's when the seeds of doubt regarding Jon's parentage come into play for the Ashara and Ned truthers, because
Okay.
Ned was very like smitten by a Char. So many
Yeah.
men were. She's very beautiful. So, and Arya really is annoyed by that notion that her father could have potentially loved somebody else. So I think that's in there
Yeah.
to throw off Rhaegar and Lyanna theory.
Well, I love how you mentioned these things. Because, like I said, I'm currently reading for the first time a Game of Thrones, like really trying to like get through the entire series just from that stupid Twitter discourse. And it's like you mentioned these things, and I'm like, oh yeah, now I remember like Ned and Robert's conversation about that outside
Mhm.
Winterfell.
I'm not finishing that. I'm not finishing that series. I'm not. I read a Game of Thrones. That's good for me for right now. But until he finishes the entire thing and I can
That's
read
fair.
it all, I'm not gonna read it. I
gonna have to wait like
I've
20
seen,
years,
I've
but-
seen I've seen a Game of I've seen the show. I get the bits and pieces. I'm gonna wait until the story is actually finished, and then I will decide to get it on
That's fair.
audiobook.
All right, Cody Rhodes. All right, we get
No,
it.
I'm just saying, like why, it could be another 30 years.
It's
He doesn't have.
he's
to-
75.
But I mean,
I
the guy,
honestly
the way the
think
guy works. You'd think that
my-
it would have been out by now.
I'd say my best guess, it's probably going to be close. I think it's going to be closer to 2030 by the time it comes out.
I say
Which wins or dance?
Wins.
Oh,
to me,
I-
wins is late
I don't think it's gonna take that long. That book was
2025.
That book was 3/4 done in 2022.
He
That's if he finds any drive to
He's-
finish the rest.
he I think
We're in
I think that book, if you want my tinfoil, I think
yes,
that
please.
I think that book is done.
Mhm.
I think that book is basically done. He might be
agree.
doing finishing touches, making double sure that it's
Edits.
where he wants to be and everything like that before he's ready to announce anything. I think not only is Wins done and he's waiting for the right moment for that, I think Dream is like
Close to being done.
close to being
Three-quarters.
done.
It has to be because
Yeah,
again, you
there's
know how
no
they're
way,
written,
right?
They're
Yeah.
written like in one line. There is no future chapters. It's
Yeah.
Tyrion exists along in like one timeline at one time among 3 books.
Yeah.
And so whatever's happening to him in Winds is probably going to be a natural continuation of a chapter in Dream of Spring.
Mhm.
And my
That's just
conspiracy
how
theory
pieces function.
is with Wins is because from what Georgia said, it's supposed to be bigger than A Storm of Swords and A Dance of Dragons. And those books are
Yeah.
fucking massive books.
They're fucking huge.
So,
yeah.
I'm predicting that the publishers are going to go, all right, George, we're not going to let you Crows and A Dance of Dragons. However, you're going to find a good cliffhanger chapter in Winds, and that's going to be part 1 and part 2. I guarantee they're going to make them split into 2 volumes. And then
Didn't they say that
This
not
one is
even
almost 1,000 pages, Dance.
Jesus.
Holy
in Winds is supposed to be like
1,000 pages.
1,500, apparently.
1,500, he said, and
Jeez.
I have a feeling because it's been done to him before that because this was slashed, this was much thicker. And
I
he
was gonna say,
It was
cut it
supposed
in
to
half.
be a Feast of Crows and A Dance of Dragons was supposed to be one book originally.
And they
Well-
made him cut it in half. Yeah,
Jesus.
Here's my question: Why? Why is it called a Dance of Dragons if there are? If I okay.
you just
I
answered your
guess
question.
The-
You just
yeah,
watched
the
House of the Dragon.
Yeah,
so
I'm like, why the why?
Why
it
is
because
the-
that? Is that because that book explains what goes on in the show? Then right
it's a subversion.
of subversion. Oh, okay, I got.
Wait,
it.
I forgot.
Because-
You haven't read any of the other books, right?
I haven't read any of the other
So-
books, so
Do you want to know?
I mean,
Because
I don't really
there's a
care.
reason why it's called that. Yeah.
There is a
because
specific
I re-
reason.
Is there? Oh wow.
Do you want to know?
Yeah, I do want to know because I want my
Oh.
mind blown.
Okay, so there is a character that the Game of Thrones cut out, important to the story, introduced late, which means, in my opinion, that he might be a distraction or red herring, who might be Rhaegar's son. That
Oh,
he
I've heard about this.
survived.
Aegon.
Yeah, Aegon the
Yeah,
Sixth
okay.
or Young Griff. He's going by Young Griff
Yeah.
as the bastard son, I believe, of John Connington or something. He's companion. He
Okay.
claims that he's Rhaegar's son, and he's currently in Storm's End.
Oh.
I've heard about this. I remember hearing about this.
Oh.
hmm
Oh.
Cave
And Varys
did it.
is going after him,
That's
apparently, from what I've heard.
interesting.
I mean, I think Randall Tarley is gonna like fuck up with the Tyrells. They don't like each other, so there's going to be a Tyrell conflict. Like Sam's father, like you know how he like gets
Is
burned.
Marjorie still alive?
She is for
yes.
now. For
Okay,
now.
good. All right.
And she's
that's the
very
one-
young. She's a
Oh,
15-year-old
no.
girl, and she will
Okay,
die.
yeah.
Cersei will kill that girl
Oh,
because the
God.
conflict with Tyrells has to happen. It has to.
Yeah. Because isn't
Oh,
right now
dude.
like Tarly, Tyrell, and a few other guys, they're like co-regents, right, for Tommen right now or something, or not regents, but like they're on the small council, right?
Correct. After
Okay.
Kevin cleaned up like Cersei's mess because she does not like Tyrells. They think they're
Yeah.
overreaching in their power, and
Because he was
kind of
doing
are.
too well. He was
Yeah.
doing too well
'Cause-
fixing everything. So Varys was like, like
Mhm.
he was like, I love when he kills Kevin because he basically tells Kevin like, bro,
You're
I'm
you're
so
too
sorry.
good at your
You
job.
were doing way too good of a job fixing everything,
Literally.
so I had to kill you. It was insane.
Yeah.
So the book is titled Dance with Dragons because of probably
The
Aegon
two-
being in the King's Landing and Daenerys, because Tyrion not tricks him, but he manipulates young Griff because he's on his way to meet Daenerys and marry her, as cousins, Targaryen cousins are supposed to be. He meets
As one
Tyrion.
does, yeah.
He meets Tyrion. Tyrion manipulates him, and young Griff gets an army, very powerful one, and goes off
Yeah.
to Westeros to do the job himself. So now Daenerys, who thinks that she's the rightful queen, she's gonna head to Westeros, and there's either her nephew or cousin, whatever, Rhaegar's son, and now Dance of Dragons, Targaryen civil war of succession.
Another one.
But
It's gonna be
I know. I get
But
it. It's
that's
a play on words. I get it.
it's
yeah,
a play
yeah.
on words, but also like a lot of people think, oh, we're about to witness another Dance of Dragons. What if we're not?
What if it's
It's a faceless man.
Okay.
No, I don't know about that, but
Interesting.
it's a
All right,
stretch.
But to kind of get the kind, I asked Josh his kind of thoughts. JJ, what are your thoughts on having been 2 weeks removed from the finale? Like, are you sitting well with it? Are you?
I am. I've sat
You
well with
are?
it after I was done with it. I will admit, and I understand the criticism of other people, that it did not feel like a finale. It felt like a penultimate episode.
mhm.
It felt like a lot of setup, like somebody called it a trailer for season 3. That notion I disagree with, because a lot of Game of
Yes.
Thrones season finales end on like cliffhanger.
Mhm.
Something
Yeah.
big happening with a later payoff in the season 2. Or following season. The problem with House of the Dragon is that it does this, and then we have to wait 2 years for the payoff.
Yeah.
So that's the fucking problem, in my opinion. I don't have an
Yeah.
issue. Like if Game of Thrones was consistently releasing seasons with 10, 12 episodes, like why is House of the Dragon not doing the same thing? The structure
No,
of
I
eight
agree.
of 8 episodes, 2-year wait, it does not work.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, they needed to do 12. If it's gonna be a 2-year wait, it needs to be
Mhm.
12 episodes. 10,
Yeah,
12
100%.
episodes at
100%.
the least.
100%.
The
Well, 'cause
problem
then-
that I have with the people that are complaining about this season, I mean, did it really end on a cliffhanger? Because I mean,
Kind of.
Game
The
of Thrones
Gauntlet?
is because here's the thing, because like the definition of a cliffhanger is when something like insane happens and then it just ends. Like,
That was a
usually-
blue balls final scene to me. It was like
It was a-
5
it
different
was a little
armies.
bit-
Like the Lannister army, you could see Heron, like they were right there.
Well,
The Triarchy Admiralty is moving towards the blockade. The High Towers and Tessarion are marching, and Alicent is basically kind of low-key going rogue and being like, yo, I'll open the gates for you if you don't like there's a
Yeah.
whole bunch of stuff
To-
that if they gave us
But
one more
to
episode,
me, it's like
But-
4 acts. It's like
but
you have like a beginning, middle, and end, and then you have the epilogue, which is the montage. Like the
But
ending
you-
to me is Alice and Renee are talking.
But Char, you might be onto something with what you just said. The like
Ooh.
cliffhanger. No, I think you might be right. Cliffhanger
No,
is
because
usually
here's
like
the thing, because at
something
the end-
shocking rather than edging. This episode was edging us with Sheep Stealer, with Reyna, with I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Is that the right word? English is not my
no,
first
it is.
language.
No,
No,
Char is
giving
being
blue
a
balls.
ass right now. Just keep going. Yeah, no,
Char's
you're
being a
spot
weird
on.
ass.
You're spot
He's
on. Keep
being
going,
he's being
JJ.
the typical meathead.
I'll be like J.
jock.
Jonah Jameson, just
He put on the tank top and now he's starting to feel himself.
And
so
he's
yeah,
got
man.
now he has arms.
Yeah.
No.
Oh no, but
like,
what I was saying was it's like because every single season of Game of Thrones that has ended has been characters just going somewhere. Every single one with Arya going to Bravos, with
You're right. No,
with
you're
John
right.
going to the with I mean John already went to the wall, but a lot of the characters are going somewhere.
the
Mhm.
Night
It
It was just what
King
ended.
coming
I mean, the
to
only
Winterfell.
time. I mean, with season 7, with the White Walkers going through the wall, like it's characters going somewhere.
Yeah.
The
it
only
is.
time where it's been really a cliffhanger was when John was killed in season 5.
But I'll
That
push
is the
back
only
on
really
this. I'll
time
push
there was a
back on
cliffhanger.
this.
That was a cliffhanger. I'll
Yes.
give you that.
I'll push back on that, Char, because we already know where Tyland's going. We already know what the Valerians are doing. Like, that is a cliffhanger. They're going to something. So in your own theory,
Well, a
it is
cliffhanger is
good
just like, wait,
cliffhanger.
what just happened?
Like it ends abruptly.
Yeah.
Like no one's arcs get
you know what I
finished.
mean?
Nothing happens. Like at least we have like arcs that are finished. Like we know generally where things are going.
Like,
I guess
if
it just depends on what we consider
Yeah, cliffhanger.
cliffhanger, because but
Yeah.
I guess by certain people's descriptions,
Yeah.
any season finale is oh, hello. Oh,
You're
like
good.
everybody went black
Yeah.
for a second for me. Are you okay? We're
Oh,
good. Okay, cool.
no.
I guess by
Your
by
mouth
certain
is not matching the words in my screen.
Yeah, you're kind of offbeat, but we can hear you.
That's all that matters.
oh, that
Josh.
helps. Yeah, that's great.
Oh, you're good now.
I
You're
don't
good
even
now.
know. Am I good?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Can you
fine.
can
We're good.
I'm that what are we good? Is it that bad? I'll just leave and come back,
No.
man.
Hey, I feel you. I feel you on the mic
Bad.
connection.
I have
I
good
hear you, but
internet.
it's
I
bad.
have good internet. It's not my fault. It's not. I have to
Maybe it's
say
mine
that.
passing over to
I'm
you.
leaving and coming back. I will not stand for this. Hang on.
Yeah, because like my definition of a cliffhanger, like if episode 8 ended with the Halda maneuver, that's a cliffhanger. like what the fuck just
That-
happened?
That is true. That's actually no. You're right.
That was
My-
what
you-
Jon.
you're-
That was happened with season 5 when Jon Snow was betrayed by the Night's Watch.
Yeah, that's the only
Like our
cliffhanger in
main
Game of
character
Thrones.
just got backstabbed by his own brothers.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
another cliffhanger, and I maybe correct me if I'm wrong. When John is facing the Night King for the first time, face to face,
Oh, in
and
Hardhome.
season ends.
Hardhome.
Yeah, but that was like
Hardhome,
that was the
yeah.
penultimate episode.
Yeah,
Was it?
The finale
Yeah,
was
well, yeah,
episode
that
10 when
was,
John
yeah.
gets killed. That's season 5's finale. Hardhome,
Oh,
no,
shit,
Hardhome's
you're right.
episode 8.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Isn't
it
Hardhome's
8?
Not even the penultimate.
No,
penultimate,
Dance of
that's
Dragons
the-
is the penultimate in that season.
Now you got me googling hard home.
Yeah, I think that was
Because Hard was either episode 8 or 9.
It's 8.
I thought it was
Yeah,
9.
Dance with Dragons is 9.
Episode 8.
Welcome back to the stage, Mason Windu.
I will
Hello.
not stand for this.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, you're good. You're
All right,
good.
yeah.
Hopefully your wireless,
fact-
wireless
the
connection is
fact-
good.
The
Yeah,
fact
I got.
that he
I,
went, "Fuck you, I'm leaving."
I have-
I'm
I
not
have
having this
great
be my
internet.
problem.
it's like when people tell you, like, yeah, maybe you should turn off your computer and turn it back up. Like, hold on. This is a $2,000 computer. Don't fuck with me, man. Like, yeah,
I'm the
don't-
same
yeah.
way. I'm the
Yeah.
exact same way.
I have a $400 Microsoft Surface that sucks, and it's
Yeah.
fine. It'll
I have
do.
my Lenovo laptop. We're cooking.
Me and Josh
Oh
out here.
my God.
Luke, and I are like up here with our like makeup PCs.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
Mine's a pretty powerful PC as well. So, but
Yeah, and then JJ. So what was the
Mhm.
9th episode of season 5? Because I was rewatching season
Now I'm
5
curious.
yesterday.
I'm
And I
clicking on it right
Where
now.
it's the Dance with Dragons. It's the one where Tyrion meets Dany for the first time, and they're in the pits, and the dragons start fighting.
I love the
yeah.
fact that everybody thought that Tyrion was a
ow,
Targaryen.
ow.
Yeah, because I'm
bastard.
currently rewatching season 5, and I'm just at the point where John's heading to Hardhome.
Mother's
But I'm
Mercy.
forgetting what the-
Oh, John's
Ah.
death. John's death
Was the final
Yeah,
episode?
John's death. Yeah.
of season 5. Hard Home is
Oh
8.
yeah.
John's
yeah.
death is 10.
Yeah.
John's death was the finale. Yeah, that was definitely.
See, that's a cliffhanger.
yeah.
That is
That's
definitely
that was a
cliffhanger.
cliffhanger.
Yeah, Mace. Not Mace. Josh.
Yeah, I'm in the show. Yeah.
Mace
Yeah.
Tyrell.
Hi, Farrah.
But
You're-
yeah, I
you're
was
right.
telling, but when you left, I was like, if episode 8, The Last Jedi, ended off on the Haldo maneuver, that would be the biggest cliffhanger ever. Like,
would be a
you'd just be like,
cliffhanger.
what the hell just happened?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with John. Like, you didn't expect him to just die
Mhm.
and just get backstabbed. I mean, you kind of felt that it was coming because
I mean,
Alistair
I
and all of
knew,
them were
but
kind of building like
Well-
a little band to betray him. But for it to be the last scene of a season, that's wild.
So,
Because
so
it's
there's
always
a good question.
someone going somewhere.
So there's a good question on the TikTok stream. So if anybody we have 33 people over on the TikTok stream.
Yeah.
Go over to the Play app, and watch us over there.
hold on. Where's
we-
my
And even season
Yeah.
8, it ended with Arya going west of Westeros. Like,
So Jay has a question. Do you believe House of the Dragon writers will change details in the show that ain't in the books. That
What is
aren't
that?
in the books.
Join us on YouTube. Hard.
I can't
Yeah.
say it on
You
here.
can't
'cause
say it,
Say
Char.
it, you
Jackass.
numbnuts.
That's
You have not
he's
been streaming on TikTok in a while, Char.
No, you haven't.
Anytime
need
you
experience.
mention this,
It
they're like,
suppresses
no
your
views.
stream. It's
Yeah,
fun
anyway,
being a streamer
we're
on
gonna
the
move
purple
from-
side.
We're gonna forget that ever happened.
Mhm.
I think that there are going to be. Well, I mean, they've already made changes. They've
E but
written
Yui.
out Maelor. They've written out.
That's it backwards.
They've written out Maelor. They've done. It seems like Hugh Hammer's motivations are different than what it are in the book.
Yeah, that's what I was
Mhm.
talking with Hereth too. Like he actually has some. He actually has like a.
He's a real character,
He's got a heart.
and not a collection of.
Because Ulf, you
secondhand.
can tell that there's something happening with Ulf, but Hugh has a
Yeah.
different motive.
I like Hugh in
He
the
has
show.
he has a
Yeah.
whole ass
Great.
family. Well, he had like his child
Yeah.
died, and he lived in King's Landing during the not the famine, but like the fish feeding and all that. The everybody just eating fish.
Yeah, because he in the
Yeah.
books was mad because obviously he couldn't, help his family. But
Right.
like
Yeah.
it was a whole different thing for him. He was like hungry for power in a way.
Mhm.
But he was just
Oh
like,
yeah, no, he was
I can-
fucking
I
awful.
can-
He was
I can
the
find a
worst.
way
Yeah.
to help my family. I can be a lord, but that's not like my main priority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It's
I can
like-
find a
it's-
way to have some comfort.
It's
for my
why
wife.
when I saw him in the first episode, I was like, "Oh God, it's fucking
Yeah.
you," and I was like, "Oh shit." But then, like, you get to know him more, and I was like, "Oh,
Oh no, don't make me
damn,
like
man,
him.
Yeah.
oh
And
man."
the fact,
But
and the fact
they-
that he is
yeah.
Sarah Targaryen's son, I think
Mhm.
that's another good. Like there are some changes from the.
It's a
book,
great
like,
subversion.
It's good. That change is good.
That's a good change, and honestly, my God, I've gotten to the part in Fire. I've been re-listening to it on my way to work every morning, and I've gotten to the point where Hugh is making a decision, and
Mhm.
something has happened.
Yeah, don't spoil it, please.
It's I
Yeah.
just don't, with what we've seen from Show Hugh, it's gonna make that decision interesting to see if they're going to go that direction.
Yeah,
We'll
because
see.
JJ,
Yeah.
we were
It is a
talking
very
earlier.
drastic.
We were talking earlier about the events that took place in season 2 because obviously we couldn't have
Mhm.
everything because we have Blood and Cheese, Sowing of the Seeds, Burning
Mhm.
Mill,
Rook's Rest.
Works Rest. Yeah. Because in season 3, do you think we're going to be limited on what we're going to see? Because I know we're going to get Gullet. Are we going to get
Gullet
Are we
right
going to
up
get
top.
Tumbleton? Are we going to get God's Eye? I mean, I'm pretty sure I
Yes,
I
we
think we're
do
going to
read
get
the
God's
chat.
Eye. But you
I'm
think we're gonna get
hearing
Tumbleton?
God's Eye is being reserved for season 4.
Yes.
I don't
which
know
it should
how,
be.
but
Which should it be?
I get
Which
it.
should be. If it's going to be, then both of them, then season 3 and season 4 need to be 12 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Need
not
to be 12
happening.
episodes.
Condor
It's gonna be
Lord is
8. It's gonna be 8.
You're getting
Yeah.
8 episodes again.
Fucking Zaslav, man. I swear to God,
God.
I hate
I-
him
Can
so
we
much,
have
dude.
He
anything
stood. He
nice?
stood 2 feet away from me when I was in New York for the premiere, and
Should have
Man,
taken
just-
one for the team and called him out, JJ.
I took a picture of him 'cause, like sneakily. I don't like taking pictures of celebrities,
Right.
I just not my style. So I like
Right.
one of these, and I sent it to a group chat. Like, kill him, kill him. Like, come
It'd be
on,
like a
guys,
slow
let's
motion
kill him.
Itadori punches.
Damn.
Boogie woogie.
Please
So are we
retire.
nuts?
Leave WB alone, please.
Yeah.
Because didn't
Who are we
George,
talking
You made
about?
$245 million 2 years ago.
the head
bro.
of
Like, what are
Warner
you
Brothers
doing?
Discovery,
Oh yeah, that
Ridiculous.
dickhead. What a douche.
Yeah, I don't
Anyway,
like him.
No, hell no, fuck
but
no.
I think there's gonna be good changes.
Oh damn! Now I'm gonna
it-
lose that
it
HBO
might-
check. Everybody's accusing me of.
oh,
doing.
you're not a
Oh,
shill
no.
anymore.
How
much are you being
God
We
damn.
need to be
Disney.
divisive on this channel on
Anyway.
social
God
media.
damn.
Anyway,
Now
anyway,
I'm not a
Disney
shill
paid?
anymore.
Oh no.
Oh no. I
Ridiculous.
mean, wait, hold on. Is that over on TikTok? Are you being accused?
No, that was my thing. Like,
Accusations.
Oh.
False.
No, like,
Accusations.
I
This life
didn't
is
mind
so
the change
good.
of blood and
Appreciate that.
cheese. I was getting paid by
Depends
HBO.
on how
Fuck,
many
I
episodes
really have
we
my feelings.
get.
Yeah.
Has no idea what he was.
Yeah.
This is the only show talked on
So-
about TikTok Live.
Yeah, because I mean, if we're gonna be getting Tumbleton in season 3, and then knowing Hugh and Ulf, like Ulf seems like he's gonna be on
He
par with his
seems
character in the
pretty on
books,
par.
but
Seems that
Hugh,
way.
Hugh, Hugh feels different though.
He
Here's
might,
a coin
they
flip.
might
Real
be
different.
they might be combining Nettles' personality and motivations in Hugh a little bit as well.
Yeah, I mean, we
love
didn't get
that,
Nettles.
and
I mean, what
love
Nettles
Nettles.
is
'Cause we're not getting
basically
Nettles.
taken
Oh,
covered by Reyna, but
Raina, yeah.
yeah.
I thought that's where they were going
feel
at the
like
end of season 2.
I feel like
But they'll-
Reyna.
They left it kind of open. The Nettles can be introduced as well.
Huh?
But
Which
again,
was?
you really can't because you're building up the entire season to Reyna claiming a dragon. Like,
Well,
and there's no mourning. So I don't know what they're going to do. I genuinely am speechless and
Well, and
don't know what they're doing.
also, Nettles is kind of a big part with a different characters, like a plot point in that whole thing. Nettles is kind of a big deal in this whole thing because, yeah, I'll be as vague as possible. There's one thing that happens. One character gets upset with another. You can probably guess which characters I'm talking about.
Gildane really
Nettles
hates Rhaenyra. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Really
Let's
hates
just-
her.
Yeah, let's just say that.
Mushroom's my
but,
boy.
like,
Don't worry.
And here's the thing.
Mushroom.
So
Yeah, him and I work out together.
So God's Eye is see, like that makes sense though, JJ, because you want to keep Matt Smith. Like just thinking about it from a regular standpoint, you want Matt Smith as Daemon for as long as possible. You know what I
My
mean?
cat just bit me. I'm so sorry. Get away from me. Get. You dumb little shit. My God, you little fucktard.
Because the thing
God
is, like,
damn it, that hurts.
oh, I've been there, JJ. That happened to me today.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
TikTok's like, nope, can't say that.
So
That's
let's
funny.
get a little bit back on track for what
Sorry.
happens in the finale of the show. So
Mm-hmm.
with what happens in the gullet, what happens in the gullet in the books, how
Mhm.
I mean, so far the show has been very accurate. Like a little bit of character changes have been made, but so far it's been relatively on par. Do you think everything that
Minus
will happen in the gullet in the book will happen on screen? Because the gullet is a very, very important part of this
It's gonna be
this
the
story.
biggest battle.
Yeah, I mean, because in the books, the gullet affects everyone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
there are multiple
Black
there are
screens, the
multiple
triarchy,
casualties.
everyone is affected by this battle.
Everyone has
There are
puzzle pieces
multiple
in that board.
casualties here. It's insane.
It ends very badly.
So then that leads into Josh and JJ, your thoughts then. So if we get Gullet, do we think we get Gullet first or second episode, and then we get another
You-
major event that follows right after that? Is
There's-
that going to happen right after?
No, they're straight going into Gauntlet. They have to.
Yeah.
They set up is too big for them not to pay
No,
it off
yeah.
immediately. I think fandom
So-
will be really
I-
fucking pissed off.
Imagine if the opening it's like the intro's playing, but like there's no music and you're just hearing ship firing back and forth, and it
Yes.
just cold opens like that.
Cold
Oh,
open.
that
Yeah.
would be epic as hell.
Mhm.
Yeah, because JJ,
That
the
would
thing
be
that I mentioned
epic.
earlier about the last scene in episode 8 is you see the triarchy hauling ass to the
Oh,
gullet
yeah.
while the Valarians are taking their time. And in the book, one of them gets caught off guard.
Mhm.
And you kind of see it at the very end. You're like, okay, well, one's acting with haste, one's just being very, calm and collected about it. So it's
Typical of
another-
the black faction the entire season, just like
Yeah,
dragging
just-
their feet.
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe there's a way we can solve this peacefully after 5 battles have already been fought.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Bro,
our
here-
film.
I forgot to say this when we were
Throw in
watching
another
the-
Scooby Doo fucking mission.
I forgot to say this when we were watching the episode, and I was so glad that Corlys kind of like was being a hand of the queen, because like
Yeah.
right after she got the dragons and he was walking with her to the queen who never was, the new name
The
for
new
the
ship,
sea
yeah.
snake. And he was like, so what are we gonna do with the dragons? She was like, well, I had hoped it would be a deterrent. And Corlys is like, okay, so no.
Wait a minute.
So
He's like, no, we need
You
to-
have the
we need-
advantage.
enough of this, like, no, like
being
start
playing
making
nice.
battle plans, like start I was like, none
Enough.
of that. Yeah, no more.
Diplomacy is over. Diplomacy
c-
died. Your son died.
You could
Let's
see
be
you could
fucking
see
real.
my soul go, oh my god, Rhaenyra, stop. No,
Stop it.
stop doing this. I
No,
get
so,
your
like-
hesitancy, but at the same time, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So like here's another
Women,
TikTok question.
Peaceful, men violent.
Yeah.
Rah
That's
rah
not-
rah.
Yeah.
Rah.
No. So here's another good question that both Josh and JJ I think can give a little bit more depth on. David Hernandez over on TikTok asks, was that Green Man in the finale actually there, or was that part of Damon's vision? And I remember watching.
Oh, you're talking about
The Order of the Green Men.
the deer, or whatever it's called.
the deer guy.
The Antler Man.
He has like doesn't
Antlerman,
doesn't
yes.
have a name. It's like
yeah, Order of
something
the Green Men.
no the specific character. It's like
I don't
the
remember his
antler creature thing.
Mhm. I
I
mean,
don't-
unless it's in Wikipedia or IMDb, whatever, like credited. But if it's credited as like a random person, I'm gonna fucking kill myself on the stream.
It's Ariana
Well,
Targaryen.
look, there goes your TikTok.
It's Ariana Targaryen.
What are you doing here, Ariana Grande? I'm so sorry.
Ariana, what are you doing?
Well, yeah, it is the Green Man, but doesn't I could have swore it has a name.
Oh my
Please
God,
don't-
you buffered,
don't.
and I thought you straight up got
I-
banned.
I was like, no.
I wouldn't be surprised.
just
with
gotta-
TikTok at this
you gotta-
point.
You gotta blow through. You gotta act like you didn't say nothing. Keep going. Keep going.
I
keep
am
going. That's the key.
hyperbolic. All of this is a joke. I am hyperbolic, and I am joking.
We'd be fine on another platform. We'd be fine on another platform.
Yeah.
Just throw that out
Fuck
there.
you, Eon.
I think
No.
it's been determined by now that I am extremely dramatic. Hyperbolic.
No, but obviously I remember watching this the first time, and JJ goes, oh my god, like she had already seen it before we did, but she was like, shut up, you're gonna want to listen to this.
Oh yes.
And I'm just like, and I'm like watching it, and I'm like rewatching, I'm like, oh fuck, oh fuck.
Because it
Oh,
happened so fast. I knew you would miss it if you like. You have to look at it. It was so fast.
Yeah, that was I was like, who the fuck is that guy? Like, it was just the Conor McGregor. Who the fuck is this guy?
Who the fuck is
That-
this guy?
Easter egg for the book fans. 100%.
Which, I mean, and also you have to remember that island in the God's Eye,
Which
is-
has not been mentioned. At all.
which hasn't been mentioned yet, but it's very important. They
In
talk
the
about
lore,
that a
yes.
lot in the
Yeah,
lore.
it's the center of all magic.
Yeah, the center of all magic, and it's
Literally,
kind of a-
eye of at Westeros, God's eye.
and it's hilarious that a certain event happens in that area where the most magic is, which gets you going about what happens at God's Eye and what happens, because we don't see a certain, at least from the book's point of view, we
You're
never
gonna
hear from
spoil
a-
the shit out of this book and by insinuating
You're
so
circling it like a
You-
vulture, Luke.
You're like
and-
you're
and
like walking
you-
around it and then like
I
going
know.
out.
I'm trying.
But you've
not
already
to.
implied something with an actor on the show that I think anybody with 2 brain cells is gonna pick up what you're saying. So just so, just
Got
so
him.
you know.
Wait, JJ, we're giving people too much credit here. We're giving people
Luke,
too much credit.
remember when I was green as hell when I was watching the first season of House of the Dragon? I was speculating shit, and you just kept letting shit drop. Yeah, I was figuring shit out too, Luke, from your descriptions.
Well, you know. Well, all right. Getting gaslight and gatekeeped over here.
Gatekept.
God
It's
Like,
like
Lord.
girl.
it's like Darth Vader shows up in A New Hope and then Luke's later, and you're gonna say, and he says, "Dude, you won't believe what Luke and Vader's connection is." It's like, is it his dad?
I wonder who it is.
How did you guess? Oh, sorry, I can't say anything until the next
Oh my
movie. Oh, so
God.
it
Yeah.
happens in the next movie.
Oh, you got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely me.
No,
That's
but I've been looking it up
definitely
for
me.
the past like 5 minutes or so. I swear that the Green Men and the Vision had a name. There was like a
Oh.
name for the character. It was like blank the blank.
The
John
Order of the
Green
Green-
Man.
John the Snow.
John Green.
John Snow? What?
Pip the Troll. I don't know.
There's a,
You know
there's
what?
a
I
comment-
can swing
there's
that.
a
Joe
comment,
Testa.
Mushroom.
It's
comment
mushroom.
on TikTok. Oh god,
He sees
that would be
everything.
Hilarious if it was mushroom.
Yeah, imagine.
There's a comment on TikTok, Jota. I'm not sure how I pronounce that. JJ, you're the reason I love A Song of Ice and Fire. Thank you so much for making love,
Aw.
making me love.
Nice.
Yeah, the other one. Making
Thank
me
you.
love this amazing universe. So
Thank you so much.
Um,
That's very kind.
I
It's
mean,
been difficult
honestly,
to make
goes- it
content,
goes-
but I
it
appreciate
goes
this.
back
happens.
to like having JJ on the first time to talk about Cad Bane, and look where we're at now.
I remember the
Um,
first time I
Almost
met
3
JJ. It's
years
funny
ago.
because JJ and I live
7.
in the same state, and when I first was on a show with her, we were in the same Anakin Skywalker shirt.
Identical. We bought it at the
And you
same
got it
store
from
at the same mall.
place.
Yeah, and I was like,
What
"Where
are
did you
the
get that?"
chances
You're
of
like,
that?
"This place." I'm like, "What?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"What? This is pretty interesting." Okay, cool.
So,
You know,
Good
the
enough.
world is very, very small. Very small.
So here's a question. Let's talk about some of the negatives because I feel like we've talked a lot of positives about this show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What were some of the big gripes of this season as a whole?
Of the season or of the finale of the season?
We'll start with finale and then we can go season. So what was the biggest gripe of the finale?
I'll just say it. Probably gonna give me some hate. I don't like the second reunion between Allison and Rhaenyra. I don't
Neither
understand.
did I.
It's just literally two of them talking to the audience and winking to the audience the entire time, like discussing the plot.
Yeah.
I don't.
They're saying everything we've been saying. I don't care for that scene. I don't care how Allison was able to sneak into Dragonstone. Like nobody notices anything, nobody sees anything. I don't buy it. It's not how this works. For 2 times for that to happen, I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
done. And I understand that they were doing like a peacemaker mission and all of that, which could have been done through letters or different
Yeah.
method of meeting.
And I get the like mirroring stories of like Rhaenyra wanting peace at the beginning of the season, Allison now wants peace, and now they're like they have flip sides almost. Like I get the messaging.
I
I
get
g-
it too,
but
I
it's like
don't-
so ham-fisted. It is so
Yeah.
like obvious what they're
I w-
doing. Like they're
I
not
was-
even being subtle about it.
I was
I don't
gonna
know.
say I don't get the messaging because I thought both times I didn't really understand the point why they had to like both times I was like, why are you meeting with her? Like, what are you doing? What are you?
Yeah,
And you tell me, like, there's this imagery of Rhaenyra now being like in a prison when you look it through the scrolls.
Yeah.
Like in Alicent is free. Free of what?
Yeah.
What is she going to do differently now? How is she free? How is her agency gained here? Except
Yeah.
us being told through a pretty picture and some strong music.
Yeah.
She's still gonna have to like go back home and do what she has to.
Yeah, they're still
Nothing
your
has
kids.
changed. Correct.
Here's a good
Literally.
question. Guys, what do you think Helena blank to Aemond? What do you think the
Hold on,
writers,
that
why-
question. Hold on, let me read that question. Guys, what do you think about Helena's spoilers to Aemon? Why do you think the writers did that?
I'm not sure
Oh,
we
about-
can
about
get
God's
into
Eye?
this. I'm not sure we can get into this
Yeah,
too
I-
we can get into
detailed.
that.
About
But-
Helena being like straight up, yeah, this is
This is
where
gonna
you,
happen.
This
That's
is
gonna
where you're
happen.
gonna go. This is where you're gonna.
Yeah, like what do
I
you
felt
want us
like
to
that's a tough-
say there? Like,
That's a
I-
difficult
I feel
answer,
like-
unless you want to know what happens.
I feel like,
And there's
a
a great book called Fire and Blood. If you go read it right now, or any of the encyclopedias, you can find out your answer right now.
Well, the fact that I did like that
tough one to
part of the
answer. It's
finale.
spoilers.
I really loved that part because it's like Helena is even in the book she's very
You know what? Like, if we're gonna talk
Mm.
about finale, I don't want to talk about Fire and Blood at
Yeah.
all.
agreed.
Is that fair?
The thing
Yeah,
is fair, yeah,
that's
because
fair.
the show is
Yeah,
the show and the
that's
book's the
fair.
book. and
They're separate. They are utterly Game of Thrones. House of the Dragon is very, very, really good fan fiction of Fire and Blood.
Yes.
Really good fan fiction.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I treat it, and that's why I'm able to enjoy it. Because if I
Yeah.
start comparing everything to Fire and Blood, I'm gonna quit the show and never fucking watch it again.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
I'll be honest, if that's fair. I cannot. Helena was doing this in a book. Does it really fucking matter?
Yeah.
No, it really
In the
it's like
context of the
it's
show.
an adaptation. Things are going to be different.
And
No,
and
yeah.
different interpretations.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Alison Hightower read to Jaehaerys when she was young,
Right.
before he died. So it changes the world
Yeah.
into a world that does not exist. So that's why I call it fan fiction. Laenor dies. Maelor is non-negotiable. He's a real character. He's a person that was birthed. There's records
Yeah.
of that. Do you see what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
can
but
say like Rhaenyra's sons are not bastards or bastards. That's a rumor. But birth of children and existence of characters like
Yeah.
Nettles, Maelor,
But I
non-negotiable.
also
I'm
find
sorry.
that interesting, but like, because like we were talking about like the Game of Thrones versus A Song of Ice and Fire differences. Like, there's also you can make that argument with Game of Thrones because there are 2 fucking major players that are not in the show. So I feel like
Well,
it's a difference of adaptations. Like, whether it's a good change or bad change is discussable, but like I feel like it's just adaptations at this point in time. They're going to make changes. So I wouldn't call it fan fiction. It's like I think you're on the right track, but I wouldn't call it fan fiction per se. I just call it's like an adaptation.
Game of Thrones, unfortunately, had actual source material to do because it has points of view. House of the Dragon is adapting Vicky.
Correct.
That's what they're doing. But again, to me, it becomes fan fiction when you change people's ages, when you remove their children, when you remove characters out of the story. This is no longer the world presented. Because even in the history books, the events of a history book are always going to be pretty in line to what happened. Who fucked who? Who's somebody's whore? Who's fat? Who's skinny? Who was gluttonous? Who was lazy? Who was what kind of personality they had? Who the fuck is gonna know that? You're gonna make that up based on like a servant that was walking by somebody's room that heard noises. Like, oh, somebody's fucking in there, and historian. Oh, that's a whore. Do you see what I'm saying? I feel like if people separate the two, they're going to enjoy the show much more. And this is an issue that I've had for the entire season, like listening to Fire and Blood purists. You cannot be a purist on Vicky of Targaryens. You can be a book purist on A Song of Ice and Fire, not on Fire and Blood. You can't.
No. Yeah, and then so let me get back to the things that we disliked of the season. So I'm going to ask you both, Josh and JJ. Were you because I mean a lot of the main complaints that people had was how long Daemon's arc was.
That was a big one.
Did you like or not like his arc being 5 episodes long? Because at the end of the day, I think the payoff was worth it, but I just want to hear your
I figured it was going that way. I figured it was going that way. That's why I never had an issue with it. I was like, okay, like this is where he's going to be probably for the entire season, and it's going to end with him being on board with more or less on board with what Rhaenyra is trying to do. Like I when people say like, oh, I want him to go out and do this, but once they said like, oh, he's there, I was like, okay, like it's probably going to be a finale moment for him. They're building up all the visions that he's having. We go from seeing cryptic views of his biggest guilt, like Jaehaerys. We see younger Rhaenyra. We see who's talking shit to him in the throne room, wearing the crown that he probably feels, at least at that time, should be his. And then we see his brother, who is actually the crux of all of his issues of recent. So like that's kind of that big moment where he offers him the crown and he's like, do you still want it after seeing what it does to me and what it's done to our family? And that's when Daemon comes to the conclusion. So I never had an issue with that. I was like, yeah, no,
I didn't have an issue with it.
It's gonna end with him securing the Riverlands and him going, we serve Rhaenyra, and that's gonna. When people were complaining about that, I kind of was just like, all right, man, whatever.
You know what's funny when people are comparing that to the book thing. Literally a paragraph in I said no talk about Fire and Blood, but this is a fair comparison.
Yeah.
Literally a paragraph says Daemon went to Riverlands to secure armies for Rhaenyra. End of sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is the paragraph in Riverlands. So now you're a showrunner. You have Matt Smith. You want to give him shit to do. Not his mother, though. What the fuck was that about?
Yeah, I didn't like
that. Was weird as fuck.
The mom thing was weird. I did.
No.
Very weird.
That didn't need to happen.
Alyssa couldn't have shown up and like have a conversation, like clothed, not having sex. Like why was that necessary? It was
to me.
It would have been perfect. I agree with that, JJ. Because it's like it's Alice Rivers. Like if she wanted to like manipulate Daemon, she could have just done that and done it with clothes on. But it was also like we don't even really know if it was Alice Rivers controlling him, right? It was more or less his connection to the werewood tree.
But the implication doesn't Daemon at one point like call her out on it in like episode 6 or 7? He says like something about it, or he's like.
The thing is, like, Alice Rivers cannot project images to him. You understand that? She's not doing that. This is literally an internal thing for Daemon. It's just the weirwood tree, the magic of the old gods, or literally, like, understanding what's happening here with Daemon himself, and, like, we're projecting all these images. It's not Alice Rivers doing this on purpose, specific images. That's not how magic in this place works. There's no, like, one-to-one answer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And also, in one of the episodes, she gives him something to drink, presumably weirwood paste, which in the Song of Ice and Fire, that's given to Bran and opens his third eye, but to see into past, future, and present. He's being trained as a green seer, so they're playing with those ideas. So I understand why the vision with his mom was done. It's the whole second son. If you were born first, would any of this even happen? I get that. I don't think it was graphically unnecessary. I
No.
can't get a kiss between Jason and Bela, but I can watch Daemon have a Oedipus complex. Is that-
Oedipal.
It's
Thank
funny
you.
that we're
I-
on this
Oedipal
cover,
complex.
this whole hair and all thing. I was gonna make a joke, and I'm like, oh wait, never mind. I'm gonna hold my tongue. Throw that out.
But Char said payoff was worth it to me, which is why like
Oh, yeah.
initially I was
I
like, when is
agree.
this gonna fucking end? And then all the payoff totally worth it. I was in
I
in awe.
think the payoff. I think the payoff started when Viserys showed up.
Agreed.
That's when the payoff started. To be honest, because we all were like at that point during the reactions, we're like,
Was it,
when
though?
is this gonna? When is this gonna start making like more sense? Like, yes, we're getting all of this, but once Viserys showed up, once Paddy Constantine showed up in episode 6 and then episode 7, that moved his character more forward.
Yeah,
Did
true.
it?
Because it's just reminding him that like the ambition of him having the crown is not really worth it.
Well, no, because
But
he
it
kind of like
wasn't- it
made
wasn't- it
peace
wasn't
within
the- it
himself
wasn't the
about with
payoff, it was just-
Viserys.
It was extremely necessary for
Yeah,
Viserys to get his point across. So like, yeah,
Mhm.
the crown killed me. Is this what you want too? Like
Mm.
that's essentially what he's telling
It's a
him.
burden. It's a burden to carry. It's a heavy
burden.
one.
Yeah,
and a
it's like
hard
the
one.
ring.
It's the
Yeah.
It's literally the crown and the Iron Throne are like the one ring
It
from Lord of
is.
the Rings.
That's
People
exactly.
are so clouded by it
Thank
Yep.
you.
and they want it, but
They
it's
don't know
all
what
an
it's really
illusion
about.
in a way.
Yeah.
Oh, love you so much for saying that. That's exactly correct. The throne
Yeah.
is the fucking ring. Always been and always will be. It's a distraction from the
Yeah,
larger
you know the funny thing is, it
enemy.
was destroyed by fire.
Ironically, yeah.
There you go.
Thanks,
ironic.
Drogon.
Which it would have worked thematically had Bran not become the fucking king. So going back in the same shit.
It's okay. You already have his own throne.
Am I supposed to become a lord? 2 episodes later, I guess I'm a king now.
I'm king.
Can't be lord of anything.
Okay. You know,
I can't be lord of anything.
That's the
why,
wrong number.
why do you think I traveled this far? I literally had a brain aneurysm when he said that. I was like, what the fuck is
Braneurysm.
happening?
No,
Bran-
well, no. It's like it. I have. My,
That's what you said, right? A
and then
braneurysm?
Josh is just.
No,
sitting
I'm
here
not
like,
that clever.
what the
I'm not
fuck
that
is
smart.
going
That's too
on?
funny.
No, man, I'm just. I hear everything. Yes, I agree. It's been a long week though. Sorry, I'm just.
No, you're good. You're
Why
good.
give Brendan the birthmark but not the one eye? Yeah, I was asking that too. He looks good. He looks very accurate to Brendan, but it would have been like 100% if they gave him only one eye. Yeah.
Wait,
TikTok
what?
comment.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm reading chat, everyone. I'm reading your YouTube chat and the stream and
good,
everything.
because I'm
TikTok.
trying to keep up on both of them, and I'm just not. This
So-
is tougher than I thought it would be.
So I do need to make a departure, but before I go,
What is dinner
I
for?
want to ask both of you one more question pertaining to the finale, and I feel like that's one of the major points of the final episode
Yep.
is Alan and Corlys.
Mhm.
I want to hear your points on Alan and Corlys, with Alan being like, yeah, you abandoned me. You didn't care about us. You were walking the streets wearing a crown on your head with your other son. We were hungry. We were alone. And you're like, screw you, guy.
I
Him-
was kind of. It kind of changed my. I still like Corlys. He's cool. Like he's a cool character.
Corlys is fucking
Cool-
awesome character.
cool character, but I always thought that in the back of my my I guess my cope was that at the very least Corlys was like doing that thing where he was sending the family money on the side and being like,
Secretly.
yeah, like, you know, like,
Yeah.
hey, here's a Range Rover for your birthday. Happy birthday, sweetie. Like, yeah, it's stuff like that. I did not know that he was fully aware that those were his kids, and he like smooth just was like,
Yeah.
and that made me go, because like when Alan started being like, do you know how hard it was for us? I had to like work from dawn until nighttime
Yeah.
selling fit. I was like, wait, you weren't sending him money? Wait, he was like, I watched the man who sired me walk by with his heir and his family, and I'm sitting and choosing meats for dinner and hot
Fur
cakes for
coats.
dessert, and I'm wearing fur coats.
Mhm.
And he's like, now that they're all dead, oh, I exist. Of course I'm gonna tell you to go yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yourself,
Like
yeah.
I understand completely. And the way that like Alan me and JJ had talked about it all season, but I was like, doesn't it feel like he's like this close from
Yeah.
fucking exploding on him, but you just don't know what? Like,
When and what's gonna prompt it?
I hate when people. I say this as a caveat, and I'm not saying. Normally, I don't like it when people say, "How did you guys not know this?" Because different situations, it's like, okay, sometimes like people don't see that clue, it wasn't meant to. From the way Alan was talking to Corlys as early as episode 1, even if I didn't know what his significance was in the books or anything like that, I was shocked that people legitimately did not know what that dynamic. I was like, do you guys not see? Do you?
Subtext, for the love of God.
I was like, it's his. That's why, like JJ and I, we were doing the space, and JJ was like, maybe we shouldn't like say who he is, and I was like, I hate being that guy, but I thought it was kind of obvious who it was.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's his illegitimate son. Like, and you could tell by the way that like Corlys, like Alan found the sword that Corlys commissioned for Luke,
Yes.
and he hands it to him, and Corlys has the nerve, the lack of self-awareness to tell Alan like, oh, I was gonna have this commission for Luke, and I'm still sad that he's gone. And Alan's just like, yeah, man, I'm really sorry to hear about that. That sucks.
Yeah.
Can I-
Yeah, thanks for
See
abandoning
when he was
jackass.
shaving his silver hair. Like,
Can I push back on one thing just slightly, because
Mm.
it kind of goes in line with the video that I made today regarding Cat Stark and Jon Snow, because there was a lot of comparison between Rhaenys and Cat Stark, whole different situations.
No,
number one,
no, dear
Right.
But
good Lord.
Corlys's behavior is very normal. Like there's this expectation that all these like lords are somehow like caring about their secret bastards in like a goodness out of the goodness of their hearts. Not how it works in
No.
universe. They don't. I don't want to say they don't give a shit, but like Robert Baratheon has 15, 16 of them. Who knows? Probably more. He doesn't care if they live or die. Do you know what I mean? Like so.
Mm.
The treatment of bastards has always been sort of like a polarizing issue. They're usually pushed away, like
Yeah.
to non-existence, to fend for themselves in universe. So Corlys's behavior, it's not right. I don't want anybody to think that I subscribe to that kind of behavior. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and to be Eve, I don't know.
100%.
To be clear, I'm not saying that it wasn't normal. I agree that it was a normal. To be clear, I fully agree with that. I was just from Alan's perspective.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
That's the part that I was arguing, that Alan was looking at that and all of that, and that you see it in his speech that like he's sitting there and he's like, yeah, man, like pretty shitty feeling for me. Not gonna lie, I don't really very much care that. like I was, I'm still here selling. That's the point that I was making. It's absolutely
I feel you.
it was absolutely a normal thing. Like Eddard doing what he did.
Thank you.
Jon.
That's exactly where I'm going.
rule.
That's exactly where I'm going with this. That was an extreme deviation from normal behavior. And most noble ladies, they would probably like smother that baby in the crib.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
realistically speaking, I think people are so emotional and are projecting their own like feelings and insecurities and relationships in their own life and applying 21st century rules to this pseudo medieval fantasy.
Yeah.
Catelyn's behavior towards Jon is perfectly in line of who she is.
Yeah.
And people also forget that's a Tully woman. Their sigil is a fish, but like the words are family honor, duty, family duty, honor. And Ned Stark, in her eyes, violates all of those things. And as a noble woman with no rights in a patriarchal society, she's not going to confront Ned. She tried. He pushed her away.
Yeah,
so she projects all of that onto Jon by completely ignoring him because she's not obligated to be his mom.
The one time she asked Ned about it, Ned got almost like
Pissed off.
scarily.
Yeah.
Like he got
Extremely
like
defensive.
scarily. And then she was like, okay, I'm not bringing it up again. And you can't make me.
Right, it's
happy
like
with
the
it.
description of
so-
like it's like rumors were swirling around Winterfell. Because this is Catelyn's point of view. Because again, reading Game of Thrones, very important to this discussion. She was like, she like asked them about it. And she's like, the rumors of Winterfell about Jon's lineage should just stop that day or something like that.
well, I mean, in terms of the Westerosi like standard for bastards, I mean, we know that like the bastards of Dorne are relatively accepted.
They have different rules in Dorne. They do.
Yeah,
And that's
Dorne-
probably the main difference between like the kingdoms. Like Dorne is an exception to the rule because of the thousands and thousands of years of tradition that they've sort of carried over
Yeah.
into time.
Well, and the same with the Targaryens,
Yeah.
in a way.
Dorn's
Not
still different.
not bastards.
Yeah,
but-
Joffrey Waters,
don't give them
king
don't
of
give
yeah.
them credit. Do not give Targaryens credit on that shit. Aegon the Fourth. The only reason why he
Well,
like
that's
legitimizes bastards because he was a piece of shit motherfucker who wanted to
Yeah, that's true.
literally send people to chaos before he died. It was literally a last fuck you to his family and to the kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't like absolve Targaryen. They're same shit as everybody else. Like as
Mhm.
far as like treatment of bastards. Ned Stark, what he did is a unique situation, which is why like people don't take that into consideration. Like there was a video that went viral on TikTok of like some guy brought a baby from the girl they cheated with to his wife or girlfriend's house, and like she kicks him out with baby in hand, like real life. And like every comment is like, oh, she's right, she's right, she's right. So people don't think these things through
Yeah. no.
sometimes. And I have a
No.
feeling, and I said this in my comment section, I'm like, people are mad at Kat Stark because she's mean, aka ignoring their favorite male character.
Well, the funny
There's
thing
a
is,
lot of misogyny built in with
You-
Kat Stark.
JJ, I remember you saying this with Skylar White, and I think about this with Catelyn Stark. You're like, you know how like you're like, oh, Skylar White is your litmus test.
Yeah,
Catelyn
she's
Stark
my
is my
litmus
litmus test of being
I
like,
feel you.
it's like, okay, what's your opinions on Catelyn?
Opinion
it's
on
like-
Catelyn and your opinion on Skylar White. It will tell me everything I need to know of you as a person.
Yep.
And again, you can dislike them. I dislike a lot of like Skylar is a questionable character. That's what makes her so interesting. But like what type of opinion do you have on these two women will tell me everything I need to know.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah, but as I
back
mentioned
to.
before,
Sorry, we weird up
do-
again. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay. It's okay.
Yeah, no,
no. It was a good-
Alan's a cool character. That's pretty much the gist.
That was
of
one.
the
That was the
show.
best. One of the best scenes in the entire finale because it was so
Yeah.
emotional. Like
Yeah.
you said, we were waiting the entire time for the outburst, and when he's like, "I'm trying to help," shut the fuck up! I was
Yeah.
starving to
Yeah.
death,
Like,
and
in
now that
his
you don't have
mind-
any heirs, you want
Yeah,
me?
in
Fuck
his
you.
mind, he's like, this is just a job, bro. Like I'm not trying to.
Mhm.
And when Corlys was like, I'm trying to help you, and Alan's like, what?
Oh.
That was the
and-
triggering word right
and
there.
then what pissed him off further was that when he said that, and Alan finally starts opening up about it, Corlys like, you know what? Never
Oh, I
mind.
don't want to
worry."
hear it.
And
I
Alan's
don't want
like,
to hear
no,
it.
no, no, no,
I was
no,
like,
no,
no,
no, no.
no,
You
no,
don't
no,
get
no,
to
no.
do that to me, motherfucker. Yeah, you don't get to do that
Yeah.
to me. And then after he starts doing it, Corlys is like, I'm dismissing you. And Alan's like, no.
Nope.
You're gonna sit your old ass there and listen to me talk. It was
For
just
once.
it was so cathartic, and it was like, oh my god. I
Great,
know Alan
great
went
scene.
back. I know Alan went back to like his quarters and just like in relief was just like probably sobbing because he was
He
probably
prob-
holding that in for so long.
Or he
30
slept like
years
a baby
probably.
for the
I
first
bet
time
he
in a long
slept
time.
good that night, man.
He
I-
slept
it
so
was
good
just-
that night.
Oh, for sure.
I love that scene. It's great.
It's so good. The stuff like that is
Yeah.
what I think makes House of the Dragon so great. Is these small character moments, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
like people having conversations. Like I always harp on that, and I'm like parroting
Yeah.
myself constantly. But that to me is important. It's
It
important.
was
I
also
know.
it was also cathartic because like, and I talked about it a little bit, but like
Mhm.
I have a paternal grandfather who like is still alive. Never met him before in my entire life. He's
Oh.
aware that I'm alive. Didn't really know my dad that well either. He didn't really know my dad that well either, and he had an opportunity to. He lives in my state. Never showed up. Now,
Oh, I'm so
luckily, I've
sorry.
had.
Crazy.
No, it's fine. It's whatever. I hope he finds God in some way. But like I had like support. I had like a step grandfather, I had a grandmother on both sides of the family. So I've been lucky in that way. And that's kind of what it's important. But like looking at Alan talk about that stuff, I was just kind of like, yeah, like people deal with this shit all the time where it's just like, yeah, dude, like when I become famous or when I achieve something, then it's worth coming into XYZ in life. And that's why
Yeah.
it's like such a cathartic thing to watch somebody talk to the biological parent who maybe neglected or didn't want anything to do with them. And it's just like, oh, so now you're kind of now you're willing to have a conversation and try and have a heart to
Entertain,
heart.
yeah.
Be like, fuck you. So I thought
Mhm.
that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
All
that
right,
was
well,
a top
I mean,
100%.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Sorry for the but like I mentioned in the chat that I have to get rolling, so I unfortunately
gym?
will have to. No, I already went to the gym. I mean, I could go
Yeah.
twice. I could go
Jesus
I'm sure
Christ.
you're
I'm
good,
sure you're
man.
going
sure
3
you're good.
times.
We've had enough
What
of
time
this
did you say you were
shit.
leaving again?
Well, I said
Oh, right now.
Got him.
Hey,
He's been voted
I
off the
said I was gonna
island.
leave 5 minutes ago. 20 minutes ago.
Get fucked.
Char, your
Oh
fire's
my
been
God.
diminished. Your
It's so
fire's
good
been
seeing you.
taken
All right,
out.
well,
Your
anyways,
fire's your life.
good people, you can find me on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at CharJS. Spelled
Oh my
right here. You can
ask
find me here at the
you.
Pod Ones podcast.
I wouldn't have
Um,
let you back in.
All right, goodbye.
All right, I'll see you guys.
Get out of here.
You've been voted off the island.
Bye. Get the fuck off.
Go do
my
more. Go
island.
do more arm workouts since you.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
the fuck out of here.
Get out. We
Get
voted you
out.
off the island. Mr. Survivor, get the fuck out of here.
Screw you.
You know, nope.
Stop
No.
letting him back in.
He doesn't. He
No.
has power.
God
He has
damn it.
power.
Get
He
your
doesn't.
ass
He
out
has
there.
power.
Good, he's out of here.
Jesus Christ, man.
He's got the
Alright,
one
we did
ring.
it,
He's got the
R2.
one ring.
We did it, R2. We got rid of him.
That's
Our
too
nightmares
funny.
are
Oh my
over.
God.
But wow. I mean, we've been going for like an hour and 39
That's what
minutes.
I was like.
I, mean,
I gotta
that'd
go
be like-
pack. I'm going
I feel
out
like
of
this is
town.
like good wrap-up
this is- I feel
territory.
like, yeah, this would feel like a good wrap up.
Somebody did ask a really good question that I kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
over
want
on
to
TikTok.
answer
Where?
really briefly in the chat.
On YouTube or on TikTok?
Poets,
In,
Poets Right at Dusk.
Oh,
what do you
here?
think of what do you think of the Come With Me by Allison? I get they were parallel in season 1 when Rhaenyra asked the plan of Cyrex. What do you think Allison's intention was? I don't think there was any actual real intention behind
Me
that.
neither.
It's just virtue signaling to the
They were getting the TikTok editors ready for their next series.
Oh no!
I was so done with it. I was done with it.
no.
I was done. What?
What the hell
happened?
was she asking them? What is she gonna go to where?
We're gonna go to Pentos. They're gonna fucking find you.
Yeah,
She has children. Like, what the fuck is that scene for? This is literally nothing but for TikTok soundbites. Sorry.
That's exactly what it's for. It's exactly what it's for.
Okay.
The slow motion walkaways, the longing eye. You know, great acting. Great,
But
great
Josh,
acting.
we got a great
Emma
score
Darcy
from
and
it,
Olivia
too.
Cook did great
Some-
with the script.
Oh, that score though.
Did-
that
did
score
she,
went
though?
fucking hard.
Yeah,
We got ramen on the piano.
Yeah,
It-
no, the score was incredible. The music is untouched. Like, but somebody wrote in TikTok earlier, I caught it briefly. They were just literally giving anything to Olivia Cook to work with because there's no meaningful material for her. That's exactly what it comes down to. I know that might be a hot take. People really love this version of Allison. I don't. I stand on that.
Yeah. And
So-
in fact, I would go even further. I think every scene she's in as of right now, fuck it. Yeah, I think it brings down the. I think it brings down the rest of the episode. I remember the episode before the penultimate episode.
I know what you're
getting
gonna say.
so fucking hype, and it was just cut to Allison, like just
You
fucking,
can-
and it
the
was like, what the
energy
fuck,
in this-
dude? Yeah.
It was
we get-
drained.
We'd get like Hugh and Vermithor bonding, and then Allison being like,
I'm gonna go kill myself in the ocean.
And I'm-
Cleanse
like,
myself.
but like,
I didn't say it this time.
I didn't say anything. I'm very PG on it.
That's
No,
Hereth.
no, but like seriously, that's the general feel. Like every time, it's like I would have, I'm this 38-year-old, like 15 years older than Rhaenyra Allison. That was I miss.
Agreed. Yeah.
I know.
she
I
had
know
a
you
little
said
bit
that.
of-
I know you
that
said not to talk
dynamic
about
was-
the books, but I love that characterization a lot. I think that
Love,
dynamic would have been really cool.
It would have been so
Yeah.
fun to watch.
Yeah.
It would have been so
But-
fun to watch.
Damn.
Stepmother
that was-
trope, all that. Like, what the hell?
That
Like,
was
Yeah,
that was our discussion on season 2 of House of the Dragon. You have to wait 2 years to
Yay.
get content like this from us. Just kidding. We're doing Dunk and Egg. And it's gonna
my
be
time
it's
to
gonna be-
shine,
It's
bitch.
gonna be
Dunking
it's
the tool.
Well,
my time to shine, bitch.
Dunking the
Uh,
tool.
My
Jesus.
sword, dunking the toe.
Dunking the tool.
His
but
accent
no.
was so. I was like, that's exactly
Jamie
how I.
Campbell-
Dunking the
I was like-
Jamie
tool.
Campbell
I
Bower
was
was
like,
friend of
Jersey.
Meredith.
I was like, that's exactly how I envisioned he would sound. Like, I'm so dunking the tool. I was like, fuck yeah.
Dunking the
There we go.
Fuck yeah,
Hold
you
on.
are, buddy.
Biblically accurate. I swear.
Biblically
Um,
accurate, dunking the tall.
Well, yeah, and
Be not
egg
afraid.
especially. Egg especially.
Yeah, egg looks good. I can't wait to do reactions.
Egg
with
gives
that.
me Aang vibes. I don't know
He
why.
does.
He gives me like Aang from
'Cause he's
Avatar: The Last
bald?
Airbender. No,
No, just his
actually,
vibe.
no,
just his
just the
vibe.
animated Aang. He gives me
I've
those kinds
seen
of
it. I've
vibes.
seen Avatar now, so
You've
that's
seen it,
why.
yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know. He
it's
just
so
gives me.
fucking good.
He's
Holy
so
shit.
he's so innocent. He's so hopeful, and
Yes.
I love
And
that
then
about
it's
him.
just
He
gonna
reminds me.
tear him.
If he's not a little smart mouth that you want to like, then they're gonna fumble this. He needs to be a little.
I mean,
mouthy.
that's the key of the wolf and the
That-
cub trope. That is the key thing there. You gotta have
Yeah.
a smart ass child.
You have to be and you have to have a moderately annoyed guardian. So he's
Correct.
like, what the fuck are you doing? Stop.
Like,
Just stop.
why are you
Stop.
doing
Duncan
this?
has to
Like,
be annoyed, 100%.
I'm washing your armor. You're not supposed to wash it like that, you fucking idiot. Stop. Yeah, I need scenes like that.
It's like
yeah.
Arya and the Hound. You got to get that dynamic going.
Yeah. Just a little more pure than theirs.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
a little more.
I need
Egg is
I
not trying
want-
to kill
I
her.
want Glendon Ball. I want Makar. I want all those guys. They're great. The guy they got to play Makar Targaryen,
Perfection.
he's such a good actor. When I saw him in an interview, I was like, holy shit. That's exactly how I'd expect. I want them to give him a beard, shorter hair. Like, I'm tired of them always feeling the need to give all of the Targaryens like a lace front. That's like 4 feet hair down to their ass. I'm like, not all of them had their hair like that.
It's not The
Viserys
Witcher.
had it short. I got so mad. Patty Constantine as short-haired Viserys with a little mustache would have been fucking perfect. I was so mad. They gave everybody the fucking lace front. I was like, stop.
Yeah.
Just
Anyway.
watch them, and I'm gonna flip shit if they give Baylor Breakspear blonde hair. I will fucking riot.
I'm actually mentally preparing. I have a feeling that they're gonna be like, we felt like they're gonna do the Rainies, and they're gonna be like, we felt like to convince everybody when the crux of Baylor's like outward controversy was them being like, he's not real. He's not a real Dornishman. He's like, he might be.
But
like
they
a
just did
Dornishman
it with
because
Jacaerys and House. Why would they do it again?
They don't trust the audience.
They
They're,
think
like,
we're
literally,
stupid.
They think we're
Yeah.
stupid.
They think we're so stupid,
bottom
and
line.
I
Yeah.
can see it now. I can see it right now when they show up. Baylor takes off his helm, and we're all watching it in the reaction. We're like, please, and it's just like a fucking golden mane. Like, why? Is the siege strong or not? Jesus Christ! You had a whole fucking thing where the seed was strong. Was Rhaenys' real mother not a Baratheon? Like,
I'm crying, man. I got. Oh my God.
because
Dominant
let's be real,
genes.
if the logic that House of the Dragon had applied to Game of Thrones, Jon Snow would have been a platinum blonde. Kit Harington would have been wearing fucking Danny's wigs. Sorry.
You're not wrong.
I'm sorry.
That made my day. That was
I'm sorry.
great.
I'm so.
Someone
they
please
think
clip that. I need a clip of that now.
They get paid $800,000. These guys get paid millions of dollars to write these scripts, make these decisions, and they come out and go, "No, the audience isn't smart enough for that."
It's Game of fucking Thrones.
What the fuck are we here for then, bro?
It's
I
grim,
don't-
dark, fan, political
you know,
drama.
What are we here for, though?
Anyway.
Anyway, Josh, JJ, thank you again for joining us for this entire season.
You're very welcome.
Where can the good people follow you on the social medias?
You guys can find me on every major social media site, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. And it's always an absolute pleasure. So thank you for having me. It's all Mesa Windu. Also, I'm gonna plug just because I might be a dog father tomorrow.
Yes.
In my
Welcome to the Dog
bio,
family.
there's a link that goes to an Amazon registry, and it's a bunch of chew toys and stuff like that. You don't have to, but if you feel so inclined, it would be lovely if you guys wanted to contribute in some way, because I'm going to be a dog father tomorrow. I'm very excited for that, and I'm very nervous, and I got all the basics for him. I'm not asking you guys to pay his medical bills, but like just anything extra. Hopefully, God willing, he has a nice long life. But like, if you guys ever feel the need to, the link is in my bio. You guys can follow it there. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. JJ.
You can find me on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram under Lady Dragon JJ. I mostly use TikTok and Twitter. I talk about everything and anything, and I'm trying to get back into making content, but I am really burned out lately. But I'm trying. So please be patient. until I get
Don't
through
blame
this. So looking forward to Lord of the Rings. I mean, Rings of Power. That looks amazing. That's it.
Good God. Can we just for a second? I'm gonna
No,
say this
no,
out
I gotta
loud.
go. I
No,
gotta go
Lou,
pack.
we'll be here
I gotta go
forever.
pack.
No.
I really gotta go pack.
We'll
it'll
be
be
here
quick.
forever.
3 a.m. drops. Fuck that shit. Drop
I
it at
told
9
you it was gonna
p.m., you
happen. I told you it was
motherfuckers.
gonna happen
No,
since
I
day
don't
one.
Care. I don't care.
They did it with The
is
Boys.
different. The Boys is different. It doesn't have a cult following like the fucking Lord of the Rings, bro. It doesn't. Don't get me started on this. But anyway, Hereth, where can the good people follow you on social media?
The good people can find me at Hereth Productions on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads now. You can find me at Hereth Edits on Twitch. I guess we're just staying platforms now. I'm no longer on Twitter because fuck Elon Musk. And you can find me here on the Pod Ones podcast.
Fair.
And you can follow me at the Jedi Master Eggs on all social medias, and you can follow us at the Pod Ones on all social medias. But for the final time this season, we'll catch you in 2025 for Dunk and Egg. But until then, Dracarys.
Dracarys.
Dracarys.